That was
Perfect.
so
That was
fucking perfect.
beautiful.
That was amazing.
We even like
dude.
harmonized our claps.
That was unbelievable. Live from the studio, I'm Jimmy Selesky.
I'm Eric Glazer, and we're on lockdown status right now.
Yes, one of the few times left, I think, in our society that we're going to be allowed to meet in person.
I know, dude. I think this might be the last time we're not live, but we are in the studio.
We are in the
We're
studio.
from the
dude.
studio right
We're
now.
from the studio. Yes. But yeah, you're taking it more seriously than I thought. You're taking out of all the people that I've run into, you are certainly taking it the most seriously. You came in with a spray bottle, a
I had
fucking
a mask.
mask.
I had gloves.
The fucking government's gonna break into your house this week and take your mask.
Nah, dude. I took him from the hospital.
Oh, nice, nice, dude. Fuck the system, bro. I need this mask.
Not really. Well, I did, but it was during a time when it wasn't so serious.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was good foresight.
Now you're gonna donate it back.
My grandma was in the hospital, like when she broke her knee, which is like still fucking me up. Because luckily she's out of the hospital now. Now that it's like ramping up, she's in like a rehab facility though, and like, you know, those are all in lockdown. Like we can't even go visit her and shit. Which is, I mean, it sucks that we can't see her, but like it's probably for the best that like they don't have people
Yeah, for sure.
running in and
For
out of
sure.
there. But yeah, when we went to the hospital in like, I think it was like early February or some shit. My brother was like joking around, like, cause I got a mask and put it on, cause I felt like a little sick and I didn't want to, I
Yeah,
had like
yeah,
a
yeah.
cold or something. I didn't want to spread it. But he was like joking, like, "Oh, he has coronavirus," and I was like, "Dude, shut the fuck up!" And, like, you're gonna get me fucking sent to a fucking jail cell.
Oh,
and
yeah.
fucking
Now, mind you, this is what, 2 weeks ago,
this
and
was
you
like
can still
3
make those
weeks ago,
jokes.
and you can make those jokes. Now I'm walking around with all those masks that I took, and I had all these like gloves, these like surgical gloves from, because I do like, you know, I make a lot of hot sauces and shit, and
Right.
it sucks getting like super super hot pepper oils on your hands. So whenever I'm chopping up super hot peppers, I wear gloves. But I bought like hundreds of them. So I
Nice.
got fucking these black gloves, dude. I'm walking around town going grocery shopping. I went to fucking Eddie's in Roland Park the other day with these gloves on, fucking touching everything. Not
How are the
feeling
stores
shit.
looking? I haven't been grocery shopping since before the lockdown, so I don't know.
So I specifically went to Eddie's because like it's in Roland Park, so like it's usually just like fucking old people shopping there. And now that old people are like scared to go outside, there's like barely anyone there.
Oh, nice.
So it's sick. And they were just restocking shit when I was getting there. So I got like everything I needed to get, and I even got some like fresh meat, and I made chili that night. Pretty good.
nice.
But the one thing I did notice, they still got the special friends bagging groceries. And they're sitting there. They don't even know if they're sick. The one dude that was bagging my groceries was like fucking coughing. And he's like, "Oh, it's my allergies." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, dude." And I like
Sure, bro.
stood like 6 feet away from him, like with my back to his ass. And he kept trying to talk to me while he was touching all my shit and putting it in bags. I was like, "God, dude, just social distancing. Sorry, bro. Like,
Sorry, bro.
I can't talk right now." And fucking so obviously when I got home, I fucking sprayed all my groceries down with that alcohol and fucking. I'd been trying to find rubbing alcohol for like 2 weeks. It'd been sold out everywhere, and I was cleaning out my trunk, and I like found half a bottle from when I moved. So I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Nice.
So I just put it in a little like amber glass spray bottle.
90%, dude. That's
90%,
serious.
baby.
That's serious.
Serious stuff.
I thought you were coming in here with bleach at first. I was like, you just bleaching everything,
Yeah,
dude. My
dude.
fucking whole studio is white
And now
now.
it's clean, baby.
Clean as a whistle. Yeah, I've been slowly falling. It's become gradually less and less acceptable to like hang out with other people. I did hang out with your brother and his condo like neighbor.
But you
Zach,
guys,
the other night.
were in like the parking lot. I know you went up to his balcony at one point, but like,
and then into
and
his
not
living room.
not to Alex's though.
We didn't go to Alex's.
Yeah, he
We
kept
did-
his place quarantined. You and Alex kept your places
Yeah,
quarantined.
his place is fucking. There's something going on there, but it was a good time, dude. It was like I think this week. It's weird how much it sets in because okay, so my dad, when the lockdown first happened, which was last Monday, which we fucking predicted. Not saying nobody else would have seen that coming, but you fucking didn't. We fucking called that
Yeah,
shit.
we called that shit.
Larry Hogan watched our podcast and was like, "Damn, that's a good ass idea. These guys are really on to something." But when that first happened,
Taking a sip of Corona Light,
Mm-hmm.
keeping it at bay.
yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I completely forgot where the fuck I was going with that.
Oh, we just called it. We called that.
Oh,
shit.
yeah. We called it.
that shit, dude. Sorry, but we called it. Hey, our bad that we're so fucking smart.
Yeah. And my dad called me up shortly after that and was like, Jim, you should really look into doing some organizing some type of live stream event or something like that. And at first I had the idea kind of in my head, but at the same time, it didn't really I was like, whatever. But now it's like, dude, everybody's doing virtual happy hours and shit, which I still think is fucking lame, dude. I still think that's fucking lame. It's like, dude, what am I gonna Skype
I've seen
you?
a couple virtual open mics, and that's,
what is that? That's just.
It's not right.
It's not right, and
I'll tell you that.
In fact, it's wrong.
Right.
I'll even go out on a limb and
right.
say it's fucking wrong. I'll say from the musician side of things, a lot of the musicians.
I think for music, it might make sense because you can, like you've said many times on the podcast, when you're playing at a show, it's the complete opposite of a comedy show. It could be no one paying attention, and you're there for 4 hours just playing like you're a fucking Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
So I think music live streams in my head make sense because it's all right, it's like I'm turning on Pandora or some shit. I'm just turning on the radio and listening to shit, except it's live.
But I'll tell you what I don't.
Live streaming open mic comedy though.
Live streaming open mic comedy just doesn't work. That doesn't make sense to me.
There's
it's like
no
you're
audience.
You're just fucking talking to your camera.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, and I don't think it's. I don't want to bash it too much because it's maybe they'll figure out a way to make it work. But for right now, there's definitely some growing pains with that.
Yeah, but it's amazing to me how quickly it's setting in. I'll say this, and it's something that has become a big thing within the musician community, my friends and stuff like that. They started this Facebook group, and now they're doing virtual concerts kind of. And so everybody signs up on this public Google Calendar and lines up a date, and then you play and you post your Venmo and people tip you and shit like that. I haven't done anything like that, and I don't think I plan on doing anything like that because there's something about it that just seems like charity to me. I don't like the idea because there just seems I was talking about this with Alex the other night when we were hanging out, but it's hard for me to bring myself to okay, I always kind of feel lucky that I get to do what I do for a living, which is literally play music in bars and fucking pay my rent and shit like that. And that's all I have to do. And now that that has been stripped away, I don't feel entitled to making money strictly off of that anymore. I'm not going to go online and be like, hey, man, I was making a living playing guitar, and now I can't make a living playing guitar, so I'm just going to play guitar on Facebook and ask people to Venmo me. It's dude, I'm not doing that.
I will say, there was a Google Doc going around for out-of-staff bartenders and service industry people, and I was looking through it because I was like, oh, okay, that's good. Some of the places that I go to, some of their people went up and I might throw some of my friends some money or whatever. Yeah. But at the same time, I was like, ooh, I wonder what names I recognize on here. I was just scrolling through the list to be oh shit, okay, I didn't know that person from our high school worked there. Yeah. Or I didn't know that person from our high school was only doing this or
only doing this. And now look at you, bro. It just sits weird with me because I just don't. Because it's there's ways to justify it in your mind. No, man, people, that's what you do at bars, you play, and people give you money, and it's entertainment, and they enjoy that. And it's but for me, it's there's a certain element. Whenever there's an element of charity to it, whenever there's anything that's somewhere lingering in the backdrop of the situation where people are watching and be like, oh man, he's probably really struggling right now. Let me throw him a couple bucks. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I do not want to fucking ask for any favors right now. It just feels weird. And so, but then I'll say this, I was so bored last night. I was so incredibly bored last night that I saw some of these live streams happening on Facebook and I just started watching them. I was like,
That's the thing. People are bored. That's why I watched those fucking live stream open mics. I was bored as shit.
Exactly.
I was like, I'll watch this.
It's and if I, a person who is morally opposed to this form of entertainment, am now tuning in because I'm so bored. There's a lot of people that are fucking that bored, dude.
Yeah, man.
And I just found myself it really puts things into perspective. Even when I was sitting on the balcony the other night, just listening to music and hanging out with my friends and just looking around, it was depressing to be damn, this big ass city. Nobody can go out, and it's like it's such a vital part of life to just see people and socialize, and you take it for
Yeah.
granted. And now we're in this situation where we can't do it, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah,
And
I
now all
saw,
this-
I think like Ice-T or I think it was Ice Cube actually. He put a tweet out being like 5 days on lockdown, and y'all keep saying you could do time. It's like, no, you're right. I can't. I fucking
Can't do
could
time,
not
bro.
fucking- But also, I don't know. There's also more like socialization in prison than some of the shit that's going on now. Like,
Yeah, dude. At
because
least
like, dude, I've just been in my apartment like doing nothing. Well, like not nothing. Like I've been working like during the week, but like yesterday and today, I was just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like I finally got my cable box working, dude. Long story short, I'm a fucking idiot. Long story short, it was my problem the whole time. Well, not the first cable box, but all the green shit I kept talking about, that was my bad.
the green shit, dude.
Green. My fucking cable was coming in green, dude. That was my bad.
How did you fuck that up? How are you getting green TV, dude?
Somehow there was a setting on my projector that was like color space.
Green mode.
Pretty much. I had it set to like 16 to 255 because like that's usually the range of like color you want to see. Like that's like
Yeah.
anything below like if you get 0, that's like black, and like 255 is like white. But I turned it to auto, and then immediately I figured it out when the debates were going on last Sunday, because I was like trying to find YouTube fucking live streams. Every time I got on a YouTube live stream that worked, Joe Biden would do like a flub, and then the live stream would go down. And I'm like, what? And that happened like 3 times when I was watching the debates. Like anytime Joe Biden had like a major flub, like the live stream would randomly just cut out. I'd be like, what the fuck? So then I was like, I gotta
Conspiracies,
go. I'm watching this in green. so I turned on my cable box, turned on CNN, green ass debate going on. And then I was sitting there with my projector going through this menu settings to be like, all right, maybe I'll just like turn off all the green in my projector and see if it goes back to normal. And I was like looking through all the settings, turning everything fucking red and blue, 0 green. And then I finally got to that color space mode, and I was like, what does this do? And I like would flip it around, and I was like, oh no. It went completely normal. I was like, fuck. Okay. Let me turn green back on. Fucking watch these debates.
That's wild, dude. I haven't watched any of the debates since we've been on lockdown. I imagine that's probably pretty fucking weird. Like the fact
Well-
there's no cheering or booing or clapping.
Well,
or,
yeah, that was the thing we talked about last episode where like there wasn't going to be an audience. Like they did it in like a studio essentially. And it wasn't too crazy until like they did the pull out and like you literally just saw there in a fucking classroom basically.
fucking lame. If you're gonna do that, I'm gonna realistically, and I know this sounds like a ridiculous thing. I think both candidates should go on the fucking Rogan Experience, dude. I
Maybe.
would rather see.
I mean, Joe Biden might be dead
He
for
might
all
be
we know, dude. No one's seen Joe Biden for like a week,
He's probably quarantined as fuck, dude. He's like top risk.
probably.
But then again, so is everybody, dude. Trump.
No,
Trump
he's
is
top risk because he keeps forgetting what's going on. He keeps forgetting that there's a global pandemic, and he's like, "Oh, get over here, my little wife," and he starts tonguing his sister. You know, she has coronavirus. So.
obviously.
But yeah, no, quarantine chilling, dude. I've been trying to keep quarantine clean. I've been limiting going out. Like honestly, this is the first time I've been out since probably that day I went to the store.
I think this is like we're in a time right now where it's still kind of in a weird way, kind of fun. It's like new.
Yeah, kind of. Because like
interesting.
nothing is like everything's not completely shut down yet.
Yeah.
Like right now, kind of feels like spring break for adults.
Exactly.
But it's like about to be weird.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better, dude.
Yeah.
And God knows how much worse it's gonna get and how long it's gonna be. That's the craziest thing. They're not giving us a timeline, and you saw like all the posts, like they're bringing in like the National Guard. Like, what are they
Yeah,
doing with
tanks rolling through
that? What are they
cities
doing
and
with
shit.
tanks, dude?
Yeah, what do you need a tank for? You can't shoot the fucking virus with a tank, bro.
Maybe I'll fucking like,
Come
but
on,
at
man.
the same time, like if I see a tank rolling down Job Road, I'll be like, you know what?
I'll stay in.
I don't think I need to go outside right now. There's a fucking
I
tank.
know. That's what I was thinking, like, because this might be the last time we do it at the studio. Because like next week when I'm driving up here, they might be like, "All right, where are you going?" It's like, I gotta go do a podcast. Like, get the fuck home. You're only allowed to be out for essential things like grocery store, or hospital visits, or get a
Yeah.
citation, dude.
Yeah, dude. It's
Who knows?
I think
Driving up here was weird.
it's super
There's
empty
so
out.
many
It's
people
super
out.
empty out. I think that we're probably, if not tomorrow, today is Sunday. We'll release this episode on Monday morning.
Know what I saw though?
What's up?
So because you had your own shit going on, and I was driving up already, so I was like, let me just fucking. I kept seeing those articles about like in Italy where like the fucking waterways cleared up and like you could see shit. So I was like, ooh, let me go up to Loch Graven and see what it looks like. Still kind of murky, and it was kind of like it's not a nice day out. It was kind of shady all day.
Yeah.
But I was trying to look in the water and it didn't really look much different. But what I did see was mad old people just fishing off the fucking pier.
Oh,
just
Jesus.
standing like right next to each other and shit. And like, dude, they were not taking it seriously. I know a couple people are like still not taking it seriously, and I'm like, come on, bro.
I'm
Like,
taking it like
I know you're taking it seriously, kind of.
Kind
but
of.
But I mean, like,
it's not a joke anymore, but I wouldn't say I'm taking
yeah,
it ooh,
yeah,
seriously.
But like,
old people don't give a fuck, dude.
old people don't give a fuck, and also like college age kids don't give a fuck. Like, did you see that one video from Miami spring break
Oh,
or
that was
whatever,
hilarious.
where it was like all those kids? Dude, everyone in that video looked like they were sick.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucked up. Like the one thumbnail where it's like the dude with the hat and he has a pale ass face, rosy ass cheeks. Doesn't look like it's from sunburn. And that's the thing too. Like, some people are saying there's like a corona blush that you get on your face, and it's like literally everyone in that video has the corona blush. It's fucked
Is that a
up.
thing, the Corona blush?
I don't think it's like a legitimate thing, but I've seen a bunch of people on Twitter being like, here's a bunch of people with the coronavirus. Here's what their faces look like. It all looks like they have these like rosacea like blushes on their cheeks and shit. But I don't know. I also have dermatitis, so like whenever
Yeah.
I get super stressed out, my shit gets all dandruffy.
What if you're just embarrassed, dude? What if I'm
Dude.
just embarrassed
I know that's what
that
I've
I
been.
have coronavirus?
That's
I'm
what
embarrassed.
I've been, dude. I've been embarrassed about my dermatitis, and I keep getting these corona cheeks, dude.
See, the thing that I don't understand, and look, I'm not a fucking doctor, as you can tell, but what Denmark, I've heard that Denmark is doing this thing where they're like quarantining the people at risk. I find one of the statistics that I find the most interesting about this particular virus is that the median age of death was 79.5 years old.
Yeah.
And
And I
other
think
than
that's why it's hitting Italy so hard too, because their average like age of a person there is like higher than anywhere else.
yeah. Now, so aside from the elderly, they
And also
say like,
Italians fucking dude.
we're
They're,
weak.
they're known for fucking kissing each other all the time, fucking
Unnecessary
slapping their
content.
asses.
Yeah, dudes are fucking kissing each other goodbye. What are you doing, bro?
yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, what are you fucking doing? But at the same time, like, I don't understand, and I don't understand this. I don't mean I don't understand this like I'm about to fucking say something, a better idea. But I
Yeah.
just don't understand why we don't do something like what Denmark does, which is like say, okay, so here are the people that are at risk from really like coming down with this and like clogging up the medical system and shit like that. You guys stay in. It's not hard to tell a fuck, dude. 80-year-olds aren't working.
Yeah.
80-year-old. If you tell an 80-year-old they got to stay in their house, that ain't nothing new. Where are
But
80-year-olds
also,
going?
I mean, you got to also think about like, all right, so that 8-year-old person's going to stay in, but if they're living with their son or daughter or whatever, and their whole family, they're all going out, they're all getting shit, bringing it back home. I mean, I think what we're doing now, if like more people took it seriously, is like the best way to try to stop it from spreading further is just like straight up limit going outside, don't gather in crowds of more than 10 people, fucking stay 6 feet away from people, stop spreading it, let the 14-week incubation time get out of here. Hopefully, like, there's going to be some sort of like state sanitation shit that goes on.
yeah.
But like, other than that, like, we just need to wait for it to fucking pass and like
Does the virus
stop keep stoking the flames of it.
Well, here's what kind of scares me about the situation is that it's impossible to expect that we can completely stop the transmission of it totally. And I totally understand the concept of flattening the curve, what they say. It's like a super, thing that they'll always say, like, flat, if you need a regular, Oh, fuck yeah, dude. That was sick. That would have taken me like 20 minutes.
That shot off. Not expecting that.
Like, what we're basically trying to do right now is limit the surge that would happen if we didn't take any measures whatsoever, and the virus just spread as fast as it would normally spread if people just went about their daily lives. It would obviously overload the entire medical system, and there wouldn't be any ICU beds and shit like that, and the medical system wouldn't be able to take care of them. At the same time, the only way that we eradicate this virus completely is, I don't know how viruses work, and I don't know, I guess in theory, hypothetically, if the virus were to not spread to a single person over the course of 14 days, it would die. Is that how that works? Like the incubation period? How does that work?
I'm also not sure completely, too. I think that might just be the incubation period for it to
Symptoms
affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, yeah, maybe that's just for basically just like figuring it out who has it and then keeping them
Yes.
inside.
But at the same time, if the virus is as transmissible as it is, and we haven't come up with any way of actually eradicating it, be it a vaccine or something like that, then at whatever point we do go back out in public, it's going to spread at the same degree it would have spread prior.
Yeah.
It's going to just be limited. It's going to be like, let's say we manage all this social distancing and stuff like that, manages to halt it where it's at, and then those people go away. But there's still a couple people here. We got to remember that this virus, according to what they say, started with one fucking person.
Yeah.
And that one person gave it to another person who gave it to two more people, and then it doubled up, and now it's a global pandemic. So the only theoretical way that we get through that this virus becomes completely, the term that I've heard the other day was herd immunity, which is a concept that once the virus runs its course and our immune systems are used to it, which is effectively a natural vaccine. Like, we all get exposed to it, we all gain an immunity to it. The only way to get it back to zero, I don't see any of these like policies that we're doing right now taking any effect in the long term the minute we go back to regular life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also still just like buying it time, like buying us time to get a proper response to it, buying us time to hopefully find a vaccine or a cure for it, buying us time from just fucking clogging up hospitals and ICUs and just like, I don't know, because like obviously as it's shown worldwide, like we were not prepared for this.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure.
And like as much as like some people think, like, all right, this is like manufactured and da-da-da-da, like, I don't know, like this is just fucking this. Like if it was manufactured, there would have been a cure way sooner.
Yes.
Like we don't have one still. Like there would have been, I was watching Kingsman: The Golden Circle yesterday. It was on fucking FXX or whatever. And in that movie, like the plot point is like the big cartel lady wherever, like she's like supplies weed and everything to everyone across the world, cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, yada yada yada.
Queen pin.
And like the big threat in that is like she laced all those drugs. Whoever takes them is infected and they start showing symptoms, and then like within 5 days they're dead. But like, she showed her hand, was like, hey, I want this and this and that. And it's like, all right, and I got a vaccine, we'll fucking give it to you. Mm-hmm. That's how that should have happened. Yeah. It's been months. Like it started in January in China. Like it's about to be April in like a week or two. Someone would have showed their hand. Someone would have been like, guys, I got the fucking vaccine. You might as well make fucking trade. You'd have all these sanctions on yada, yada, yada. And
yes. Now, I'm not one of the people that thinks that this has been manufactured. I don't think it's been manufactured.
Yeah.
However, there is a leg to stand on in the theory that, and I also am one of those people who I never attribute to malice, which could be attributed to incompetence. Yeah. Whenever people get very conspiratorial about the deep state and stuff like that, and like I definitely believe there's hands at work, behind the curtain for sure. But I think this is probably more of a testament to this virus got to a point that China, this virus got to the point of uncontainability that the Chinese government allowed it to get to that point before taking any action, before letting anybody else know.
Or just like, I don't know,
Now-
because like the thing was like the reason it was so bad in China and Italy is because like in China they didn't know what they're fighting for a while, because like it would come back, you know, like if people went in for a upper respiratory infection or whatever, and then they're like, well, the flu test didn't say you had anything, so you're out of luck. Or like some people would get like false positives on the flu test and be like, oh, it's just the flu, don't worry about it, and then they're like fucking dead. So like, I mean, I don't know, I think it's just fucking like shit happens in nature, like, you know, the swine flu and mad cow disease and all that shit. Like nature just fucking finds a way to fucking
Yeah.
just stunt, like, you know, drop the ball on your ass. Like, I think this is just one of those things where it's like, all right, we've been trying. Like this virus or bacteria has been fucking through Darwinism, and like it's been fucking putting the work in.
Yeah,
dude.
this virus
has been
putting
fucking
in-
hitting the gym every day. He's been eating right. He's on keto,
He wants
intermittent
it.
fasting, dude. He fucking wants it.
He wants
dude.
it.
And it finally fucking, from a batshit turd onto a pangolin or whatever the fuck it was that ended up in that wet market that someone turned into a fucking stew.
Stu.
That virus worked hard, man.
Came from nothing, dude.
It came from nothing.
That virus
Dude,
came
it
from
literally
nothing.
came from nothing. And now it's here. So like,
You don't think
I
there's
don't know.
any element of opportunism in this?
I'm just saying, I don't think this virus is an industry plant.
Oh, it's not an
I
industry
think
plant. I don't think it's an industry plant.
this virus blew, like, I think a lot of people are thinking it blew up overnight. It's been putting in the hard work.
It's been, yeah. It takes a long time to happen overnight.
Exactly.
In the words of Big Sean.
baby. That's what I was looking for.
All I'll say on that level, because again, I really do think that this is just something that's happening. But if you don't, in the same way that there's that big thing that came out where a bunch of senators, like when they found out about this, like pulled out their stocks and shit, like they got like insider
Sold,
info,
like,
and
yeah.
that's our
millions
own
of
American
dollars in
senators.
stocks.
That's our own
Yeah.
American senators.
Yeah.
That's our own people.
Well, and that's you know, goes against what they were saying to the public too, and that's
Yes.
like where the biggest
Yes.
you know, malice comes from, I guess. Like,
But if you take it to, you know, if our own people are doing that, to think that there's not people that were within perhaps the China.
China.
If you don't think there was people in China fucking thinking the same thing, you're crazy, bro. You're fucking crazy. And like, I'm not saying that it is the reason it is the way it is, but when you think about it, this, like, China's kind of already apparently recovering from it. You never know with the
Yeah,
information
yeah.
they give us, but like,
Yeah.
it is crushing the West.
Yeah, it's crushing
the West.
Europe right now.
Yes, and we, you know, obviously we're rivals and shit like that. So they're watching this thing that came out from their country infect the whole world, and it's breaking the whole world down to its knees. And there's got to be some people who are opportunists on all ends that are going, well, this is a good time to fucking.
I mean, dude, you never know. China is probably like sitting over there in Beijing thinking like, all right, Italy, you think you invented the noodle? Let's see about that.
Matt was saying that earlier. Actually, he was like, It's always. I remember even in like elementary school, like. It's always that like one the kids that grew up to be like the woke kids were like the same type of personality types at a younger age, and like
Oh, for
he would
sure.
always be like, well, like, what's Italian? And people were like, I don't know, pizza's Italian. So we're like, nah, dude, pizza's fucking Chinese.
It's
people
Roman, dude.
Yeah, fucking like they'd always come up with some bullshit about how like, oh, look, Italians didn't invent that. It was the Chinese. Maybe the Chinese got pissed off about that, dude. Maybe they were tired of that debate, dude. They were
and
fucking
then
tired.
Now it's hitting America because they're like, General Tso's isn't Chinese food, dude. Step off. Claim that shit.
I think that this is I think that what's going on right now is the only issue that I take with the whole thing is I'm all for the policies that we're doing if there's an end in sight. I don't think that at a certain point it is the best foot forward to go along
just
with
halt
this
everything.
indefinite period of isolation and shutdown of the entire global economy. Because right now we're seeing you know, certain sectors of the economy be taken out of work.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, So like you take out the lowest levels of society, the people that are that are working for bars and movie theaters and gyms and stuff like that. Now they're out of work, but also the people who are paying those people are out of work. Now they can't pay their rent or their mortgages. So now the people that are renting this real estate, or the banks that are loaning money and expecting a mortgage payment back from these people, they're not
Didn't
getting
they?
their money.
I thought they put a freeze on like evictions and shit.
Yeah, they put a freeze on evictions, but at the same time, you're talking about a whole sector of the economy that's now out of work, and then that rolls over to the point where now you take
They're not spending money at the grocery store. They're not
Exactly.
spending money at a local takeout spot. They're not, yeah.
So it just transfers over. So there's more and more people, like, for instance, like Alex works at McCormick. Well, now that the food industry has been shut down, the restaurant food industry, that's a whole portion of their market that isn't operational right now. So it's only a matter of time before that lack of consumerism starts to affect them. And then McCormick starts to have laying people off because they're going like,
Well, I mean, they're also still like, I don't know, they're still supplying for like, they're supplying spices for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're supplying stuff for like a frozen chicken thing that's like in the breading, or
Yeah.
like I don't know. I think everyone is getting hit by it, but I think like, I don't know.
Well, I guess my point is that this current state that we're in right now is clearly unsustainable. You can't
for
do this.
sure.
You can't do this. And
Yeah,
the question is, how long can you? It's not obviously not an argument of, oh, we can do this. It's a matter of how long can we do this before it has disastrous effects.
Yeah.
And at that point, there has to be someone, I hope, and I know there is, but there has to be someone on the other side going, okay, so here's what we're avoiding, and that's this virus. But here's what we're doing instead to avoid this virus. And at which point, just like when you are in algebra and there's two equations and you find at which point do those two curves intersect, at which point do the negative effects of this virus intersect with the negative effects of shutting down the entire world economy? At which point does the shutdown and a potential depression like we've never seen in our history, at which point does that become more of a pandemic than this virus?
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is that, the idea that we're just gonna be completely beholden to the prevention of the spread of this virus and not think anything of the other ramifications of the things we're doing. You have to, at a certain point, you gotta hedge your bets a little bit. Hedge your bets isn't the right term, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hedge your bets means like,
Hedge your bets.
we could just let all these people die.
And that's what kind of annoys me, because one of the things you see a lot is like the meme I've seen from both sides. There's that meme, like, so on the Trump side, on the Republican side of things, conservative side, they'll be like, oh, so all the people who said Trump's not my president, you ain't gonna cash that check, right? And then on the other side of that, there's the leftist side of things that are going like, oh, all those conservatives that were against socialism, like, all of a sudden now you're gonna cash that check. And it's like, you're both fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Because this, like,
This isn't even like, we're not supposed to be divided anymore.
We're not supposed
like,
to,
we all need to come together
exactly,
to figure this
exactly.
shit
So
out.
the fact that we're
like-
even politicizing it to that degree, it's inevitable, but it's also it's worthless. But the more so factor is like, I think the people who are using it's like, oh, all of a sudden now, like, people are getting $1,000 checks, and it's like the people that are like, oh, now you're cool with socialism, but it's like this. I wouldn't say this is socialism, what's going on right now, because what's happening right now is the initial government intervention was not in a totally free market where the government just stepped in and said, hey, we're going to give you X amount of dollars per month. That's not what happened. The initial government intervention was the government stepping in and by law mandating that an entire sector of the economy was not allowed to operate.
Yeah.
And so once you step in and impose that on a free market, it's no longer a free market. So now you have to find out some way to mitigate that. You have to find some way to quell the effects of that. And the way to quell the effects of the initial government intervention is to impose more government intervention, which is giving out the $1,000 check. And some people go on there and are like, oh, you guys are cool with socialism. It's like, dude, I think we can all agree that the current state of things that we're in right now is clearly unsustainable. So if this is what you're using as an example of the socialism you want to see in this country, that's exactly why people don't want it. Because we can look at the state of things right now and be like, oh, you're saying this is what you wanted? Because this is clearly not what anybody wanted.
I mean, but also, like, I don't know. People using the argument that, like, empty grocery stores, is this what you, like, this it's the socialism you wanted? It's like, no, dude. this is literally, we're in capitalism right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is the free market, is people fucking buying all the hand sanitizer and marking it up 5 times.
Yeah, yeah.
So then maybe someone might die because
Yeah.
they can't get it. It's like, that's the fucked up part about it.
Yeah.
Is that people don't see that as a bad thing.
Oh, totally, dude. I think
People have been sharing this like Amazon thing around where it's like Amazon has shut down their warehouses for or like they're not accepting shipments for anything that's not medical supplies, yada yada yada. But like that's the headline, and people keep sharing that around, like, oh my god, like I need to get my order and I need to da da da. But if you actually read the article, it's Amazon is limiting sales from warehouse affiliates, meaning just like if you were to go to the store and buy 10 things of Lysol and try to sell them on Amazon and ship them to their warehouse so they can get sent out Prime, they're not letting that happen anymore.
Yeah.
Which honestly makes sense because you don't want to just have random shit get sent to your warehouse and infect everything else in there. Like, but and then also it's to stop like that dude in fucking California who had like 10,000 fucking things of Purell in his garage. And
Yeah.
he's like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to sell all these? My family's not going to be able to eat because I bought all this Purell. And it's like, yeah, dude, 'cause you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why this is happening, dude. Because you took advantage of a broken system during a fucking national pandemic. Like, you should be penalized.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it would probably be fair to say that this situation that we're in right now, I don't think that any of the I don't think that you could necessarily attribute it to the good or bad of any. I mean, you could definitely say that this exposes the flaws in capitalism for sure. Like
Yeah.
for all the reasons you just said.
I mean, it's exposing the flaws in every modern economic system.
Yeah.
Where the quote unquote, like, you know, low labor is now being spun as essential workforce. Like grocery store workers, whatever. Anything that's like still open now. Like fucking basically minimum wage jobs where they're like the most exposed to the virus. Like they're the people that are like that we're not paying enough to do that. And you know, you've seen some fucking like cope out of it. Like I forget if it was like Michigan or Minnesota or something, but like they put it in effect that like, you know, they're recognizing grocery store workers and like, you know, pharmacy workers as like emergency workers, so they're like giving them all health care pro bono or whatever. And I like, you know, I don't know, it still just pisses me off how many people I see hating on Medicare for all.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're one of the people that could really use it right now. I don't know. There's just too much shit going on. I have too much time to look at the internet. One of my new conspiracy theories is, you know how like every couple of years they keep talking about how like, you know, with the ice caps melting and Antarctica ice melting, it's releasing viruses
Oh damn.
that have been frozen in the ice caps back onto the world. And, you know, we did see with like some of the anti-vaxxing thing, like measles came back and like once thought of like dead diseases came back and have been starting to affect people. And that's one of my thoughts.
Hey, I mean, it's a
maybe
possibility.
coronavirus came out of the fucking, you know, the fucking Mother Earth was like, I'm going to put these fail safes up in ice, keep them on ice, you know, keep them
Yeah.
on ice. If shit gets too warm out here, pop a little disease
Well,
out.
yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I think it's probably more so in the realm. When you're talking about COVID-19, it's called COVID-19 for a reason. It's because there's
Yeah.
been
There's been
18 other
18 other
fucking
ones, yeah.
mutations and strains of this coronavirus. You know, this isn't the first coronavirus. It's just the 19th strain of this. You know,
Yeah, it's
from
the
my
one that-
understanding.
yeah.
And so that shit mutates, and it's just like the flu. The flu becomes different every fucking season. You got to get a new vaccine every season because the flu is constantly mutating, constantly in the same way that our immune systems are changing the way they operate to deal with whatever happens. The viruses are working just as hard in the cut, being like,
Yeah.
all right, we got to change what the fuck we do too.
And I think that's the thing that's like kind of fucking us. Like we've kind of become like the boy who cried wolf with pandemics. Like, you know, like last year, a year or so ago, it was like Zika, and then it was Ebola before that. And it's like we've had these scares that like, I don't know, Like, I remember their bus ads for Zika, like, in Baltimore City. And I don't know if anyone was really even affected here. But, I don't know. I think it's just like, yeah, boy who cried wolf with viruses. And then finally there's, like, one that's actually taking precedent and is, like, actually a threat.
I think it's boy who cried wolf
And-
for everything, dude.
Yeah.
Because, like, and I think the reason why a lot of people didn't take this as seriously as maybe it should have been taken is because
Yeah,
we've
it's
been
because right
asked-
before the news anchor said that, they're like, Russia is actually
Yeah.
advocating for Bernie Sanders' campaign for
Yeah.
some reason. They
They-
aren't doing Trump anymore.
Exactly. You
Fuck
see,
off,
you see
dude.
our media.
And then they're like, you're all gonna die, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
everything's been the end of the world for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's completely on the fault of the media. And it's probably part of the reason I'll even admit Trump did not take this as seriously as maybe he should have at the very onset of this. But I think maybe a lot of that could be attributed to the fact that there's been so much other bullshit that has been tossed around in the fucking news that wound up being nothing, that then this comes out. And everybody, when this first came out, we were just sharing the video of the fucking bat soup. Nobody was really taking it
Yeah, no one
seriously.
was
Nobody
taking it
really thought
seriously.
anything until it wasn't serious until it was. Then it's like,
Dude,
and
until
the
Tom
news-
Hanks, dude, it wasn't serious.
Yeah, once Tom Hanks got
Tom
it.
Hanks, fucking a couple NBA players. Yeah, it was on.
I
Idris
think,
Elba, dude.
yeah, I would be willing to say that the way that this country has dealt with this virus has been, I think, largely attributed to the fault of the media. In the way that they've consistently overblown everything in the past to the point when actually something that should be taken as seriously as being taken seriously, we've been asked to take everything that seriously for the past 4 or 5 years, and at this point, it's like, well, you're kind of the ones who fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot could be said about that.
I did see something nice in the news the other day, though.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think a guy in Pasadena, like owns some boating company. I think it was like Pasadena Boat Works or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he apparently has this charity for giving kids going through chemo those like N95 respirator masks. And they have like, instead of just a mask, it's like tie-dye or there's like a pattern on it.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a storage locker of like 15,000 of them, and he was like, "Yeah, you guys can have him. Like,
Yeah.
State of Maryland, go for it. Just send them out to doctors and hospitals." And I was like, "Good on you, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
There's been a
Good
lot of
boy."
there's been a lot of good exposed from this and a lot of bad. And I think, like, for instance, one of the places I play, and I'll say this because it's a good thing. I play at the Horse at least once a week, every Sunday night. And, well, first of all, the owner, Eric Matthias, awesome guy. The day before we went on lockdown in Maryland, and by lockdown at this point, I'm sure will mean a different thing come this week when we go on a
Yeah.
real lockdown. But when they shut down bars and restaurants and movie theaters,
It
and
might
gyms
not
and
even
shit.
be this week, too.
Yeah, it might not even be this week.
I think in other states, like I think New York City's about to go on
Mm-hmm.
fucking lockdown because I think like the amount of unreported in New York City cases of coronavirus is about to fucking blow up.
Yeah.
Like also in like, LA, San Francisco, anywhere there's like a ton of homeless people, this
Mm-hmm.
shit is about to go crazy.
Well, this is a small business owner in Baltimore that the day before the initial announcement was released, which was last Sunday, I got a text from the manager saying, "Hey, I don't know if you heard, but we're going to be closing at least until Wednesday." So this, that, the other thing. Later that night, I got a text from the owner, Eric, saying, "Hey, I just want to let you guys know that we'll be paying all of our musicians 30% of whatever gigs they miss over the course of this closure."
That's nice.
Now, here's where my moral conundrum comes in. First of all, I don't mean this as shade at any other business, but I play at a lot of places, and that was the only place that reached out so far with any type of, giving a shit about what happens to us. So I'm not saying that they haven't done that for their own employees. I also understand I'm not an employee of that business. And I also understand that the Horse is a somewhat unique situation because the Horse has live music all day, every day. So they have 3 musicians booked Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, 3 musicians a day. So that's 21 gigs a week that are being missed. And so perhaps maybe to the Horse, the musicians are considered more of an employer type of situation than necessarily it would be at any other place. I also understand that that's a lot of expense to take on when this poor guy probably had no clue that it was going to. He said that he was going to do that on Sunday. That was a day before they actually. He made the decision to close down before it was.
When he thought it was going to be open on Wednesday.
Yeah, he made that. Yeah, he made that decision to close down because that was his own personal decision to close down. And a couple of other bars were canceling gigs. They weren't closing down. They were just cutting losses at that point. They were like, okay, we'll stay open, but we're not going to pay a live musician if we're not going to have that much business. So the first thing to go is the entertainment, and then see how long we can stay open.
Yeah,
you
cut
know,
as many workers as you
Exactly.
can, and then see what happens.
But Eric at the Horse was like, no, this is a moral thing for me, so I'm closing down regardless. And then, of course, the next day, they make an announcement that all these things are shut down anyway by law indefinitely. Now, this guy's got to be sitting there thinking, damn, how long can I pay all my musicians 30% of their missed gigs if this shit goes on for 1 or 2 months? I wasn't thinking it was going to go on for 1 or 2 months.
yeah.
I almost thought about texting and being like, dude, trust me, I know you were not expecting this to maybe you were, and you're just on top of shit way more than I'm giving you credit for.
Yeah, you never know. That place has been open forever.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
it's
like,
you never know.
part
and
of me
they
was-
charge a bunch for drinks. So
they
and not
do
to
make a-
throw shade, but not throwing shade, but
oh yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap, and that place is packed to the gills on busy nights and has a consistent clientele, and they're definitely not hurting for money. But when they're not allowed to be in operation for God knows how fucking long, at a certain point, he's sitting there being like, fuck, how long do I have to pay all these fucking guitar players 30% of their gigs, But that was an example of, I think that was an example of what I would say capitalism being a good thing too, because this is a guy who came to his own personal decision, and he did something that, in a way, even though it might affect him monetarily, the intangibles of that decision that he made and the amount of appreciation he showed for his employees in that decision makes him so much better in my book and everybody else's book.
Oh,
And it's just
definitely.
like, you want to work with that guy. And that's why that bar is so successful, is because that's how they do business. And
Yeah.
and as much can be said for, bad business can get you ahead if you're a cheater and a liar and a stealer, you could say the same thing for just life in general, that being a fucking asshole, sociopath, fuck everyone over that you can, step on all their heads that you can, that gets you ahead in life. But at the same time, you could also say that, you also get ahead in life by being a good fucking dude too. And you get ahead in life you get ahead in business by being a good dude too.
Yeah.
You can get ahead for a little bit by being a piece of shit person, but at a certain point, everything comes back at you.
Yeah.
The question is the juice worth the squeeze? Because you look at a guy like Harvey Weinstein, who was a piece of shit his whole fucking life, and then at the age of fucking whatever he is now, he's finally getting hit with the penalty, and it's like, well, I already fucking got my dick sucked by every fucking girl in Hollywood, and now I'm fucking 78 years old, look like a fucking expired condom, and I'm going to jail.
Yo, let me just tell you this. Either Weinstein is about to fucking make a disappearance and fucking live out his life in Israel, or this
The
man,
Zionists.
he apparently contracted the coronavirus. Harvey Weinstein.
Did he really?
Yeah. 3 hours ago, news reports. Harvey Weinstein tests positive coronavirus in upstate NY prison. Dude, you're touching my beer now? Come on, man.
bad, dude.
I don't even have any Clorox wipes left.
My bad, dude. You want me to get the Lysol to spray that shit down?
I got my alcohol.
I think we're so immersed in alcohol fumes right now. We might be good, but
We might be good, but no chances. No chances. I don't know what you're doing with your fucking shotgun before you came here. Fucking licking it and touching it.
yeah, dude, that's the other thing, man. There's always a certain. I think that this situation is
This
really,
has made me want to buy a gun so bad.
and it's.
Is that nothing? That's nothing? Okay. Something popped up on the screen on the computer.
I've been clicking remind me later on my Adobe update for 4 months. Remind me later.
Just figure it out. You'll make it work.
Adobe's like, dude, there's been 6 more updates since the last time we tried to tell you to update. You keep telling me to remind you. I'm waiting for Adobe to just give up trying to remind me. But regardless, I think that so as a person who's very fond of the not fond, but I respect what the forefathers foresaw when they wrote the amendments and the Bill of Rights. And what I think is most interesting.
Wait, is this about Harvey Weinstein?
Oh no! I'm talking
Okay.
about guns and shit like that.
Okay, good.
But when Harvey Weinstein ratified the Constitution,
That was his freedom of speech, okay?
but
freedom to press his dick up against his actresses.
that's what they meant, right? But like, I think that what they understood when they wrote those amendments, and I think it's one of the reasons why that people have been pushing back against freedom of speech and freedom to bear arms and things like that. And I obviously understand that there are certain, outlier situations where these arguments come to their limits. But I think in the general argument of things that they should be respected is that we grew up in a time. We didn't have any, we grew up in a time, particularly millennials, where there never really was an actual threat to our, like in a worldwide
9/11.
stage. Okay, 9/11, sure. 9/11, sure. But those are also the moments that kind of break you back into reality. Those are the outlying things. There are people who grow up in countries where terrorist attacks and shit like that are a daily thing. Where they, or even if you want to bring it back to a smaller scale and say there are people that grow up in the inner city where violence and being unsafe and not being able to rely on the police is an everyday reality for them. But because we exist in this situation where it's like, come on, it's not that bad. Like, I don't need a fucking gun. I understand that's the way a lot of people think, because you talk to a lot of people and you bring up like, that amendment was put there because, these guys, you have to understand when these guys wrote that, it wasn't like a hypothetical situation to them. This country was founded off of breaking away from a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
So
like, British soldiers were just taking over people's houses to make bases and shit.
Exactly. So they wrote, and if you look at the first couple amendments in particular, they're all based off of the fact that you could tell that these guys had just broken away from a system where they saw how far it could be taken. And when they constructed this new system, the American Constitution, they wrote it in a way to, at the very best that they could, prevent that from ever happening again. And they understood that that reliance on personal security and things like that were important. This is a situation where, if for nothing else, whether or not your opinions on guns have changed either way, because I'm not a crazy gun guy either. Like, I own one. My dad has held it hostage at his house for the past 4 years. When I fucking moved from place to place, I left it in his gun cabinet until I found my new permanent residence. And then I asked for it, and he was like, no, you're not getting it back until... He literally paid for, like, tactical training for me. He was like, you're not getting it back till you complete this course and shit like that.
Damn.
And I was just like, whatever. You know what? I own a shotgun. It's legally mine. But, like, how much do I really need it? I don't really care. I got other priorities I'm worried about. I'm not fucking focused on getting my shotgun. It's not a top priority in my life. At a certain point, when stuff like this happens, all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, you know what? Maybe it would be good to have, And it's crazy because it's such a wake-up call from how drastically our lives have been changed just in the short period of time that it's been.
Oh, yeah.
Like we talked about on the last podcast, but how quickly things went from like everyday life to now we're in a completely different situation. And it doesn't take that long. All of a sudden, this is the new normal. And here we are. And this is one of the few moments, just like 9/11, where everybody takes a step back and like, oh, wait. We don't live in a fucking perfect world. We don't live in a place where we can necessarily trust everyone around us or trust our government and things like that. And that's why it is good at the end of the day to not be reliant on other people and other things and just have a personal sense of security, which is why, I called up my dad and he was like, you know what, Jim? At this point, just come over and get it. Just come over and get it, because you don't know. And that's the thing. You still sound, even at this point, you sound like this crazy conspiracy theorist. Whatever. I'm 3 Coronas deep. I'm not even going to try that word.
Yeah, come on.
Theoreticist. I don't even know what the fucking word is. But like at this point, you still sound kind of loony, and I still don't think it's a likelihood that I'll ever need it. But there's also needs to be a certain amount of appreciation for you don't know.
Yeah.
You can't rely on these things. If you would have talked to somebody a month ago and told them that this was going to be the situation on March 20, whatever the fuck it is, I don't even know what day it is anymore because I don't have anything. I have nothing to live for right now,
dude.
I have no gigs. I don't even know what day. It's Sunday.
It's
I
crazy.
think.
Yeah.
I don't even fucking know.
I legit haven't talked to a person this long since our last podcast, probably.
Isn't it wonderful?
It's fucking crazy. We're about to do a fucking 4-hour podcast.
I know, dude. Just
because
I
got so much to talk about.
Just because it's so fucking bored. But like these are the things, and it's half beautiful and it's half not beautiful. The beautiful side of things, I think, is it really brings closer to home how much we really do rely on social connection and just being around people and being able to see people and talk to people and relate to people. And that's why you've seen these people go to these such cringeworthy measures of virtual happy hours and shit like that, just to
Yeah.
have some sense of connection with each other.
Exactly.
I think that's a beautiful thing that reveals about our society, especially in a society that recently has been criticized for our lack of social connection. You know, like our with social media and things like that, kind of bringing everybody. I can turn this heater off, by the way, if you want. But cool.
Perfect. Keep my shield on.
The non-beautiful side of things is, and I don't even think it's non-beautiful at all. I think it's a necessary thing, depending on how bad this gets. But it's at this point, if it doesn't get worse, which it definitely will, but who knows how bad it'll get. At this point, it really brings people back from their kind of like matrix that they're living in, where they think everything is okay, and all the things that we hear about in history books with fucking, you know, like genocide and tyrannies and things like that. It's not just a story.
Yeah.
It's not just something that happened then that we're beyond now. It's just remanifesting itself constantly, and a intelligent, a responsible person has to understand that it's something that humanity and society is always capable of. And don't ever let yourself get into that comfort zone of thinking that your life couldn't change in a fucking instant. And that's where we're at right now. So I
Yeah.
think, you know, in that aspect, it's also a good thing too. The downside of it is you look back at how certain things have resulted in these terrible tragedies and things like that. And the reality is we're not reading off a script. We're improv this. Life is a fucking grand improv, and we're right here, right now, making the calls that we think are best right now. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if you put a if you put a bar out of business or a gym out of business or whatever, any small business out of business, once we go to lockdown, nobody's allowed to fucking work other than completely essential employees. And all those people, like, I think one of the things that I think is fucked up is not necessarily fucked up. I'm sure somebody could tell me why it's not fucked up, but just on the surface, that's super fucked up about it is they're talking about like extending loans to businesses to pay for whatever profits or loss. So they're going to like float them a little bit so they can pay it back. But even then, it's like when that business goes back into business, when a bar goes back into business, their immediate first move is not going to be to hire music and non-essential. When a bar first goes back into business and they're X amount of dollars in debt from the lost months.
And there's going to be a very slow build up to where they were before too. Because like, you know, when shit finally gets out of lockdown, like, people aren't even going to want to go out yet.
Yes.
Because it's going to be such in our schedule and in our mind to just be like, all right, let's stay home. Like, everyone's going to be a homebody. And it's still just going to be, it's probably going to be fucking a while before shit gets
exactly.
to normal.
And so this isn't a matter of when the government says we're allowed to go back out. It's a matter of whatever limitations that are imposed upon us now are going to have a lasting rippling effect for long after this whole thing is over.
Yeah.
Whether it be for the public fear of, you know, still there's a certain amount of hesitancy to go out unnecessarily, or people, you think maybe, I don't know. There's two ways of looking at it, because I could also see that the second they say we're allowed to go out to bars again, it's going to be like the biggest fucking bar night of the world, you know?
For a certain section of the public.
Yes.
But I think, like, I don't know. It's going to be weird, man.
We're going to be experiencing something. This could really go into a really fucking bad depression, dude. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It could really be fucking bad.
Which is kind of weird to me, because like, we make video for a bunch of like big companies, and like they have for a while been like we might go into a depression at some point. So it's like they were already expecting one. And then this shit happened, so it's like, it might happen. Like,
Oh, yeah, dude.
Might just happen.
Oh, yeah, dude. I just think it's, I don't know. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of conspiracy stuff because I got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe all of it. I think there are certain things that you can take away from listening to stuff like that and see how quickly the state can impose control on people, and you wonder how long that control is going to be imposed. And you wonder, as an American citizen, I wonder for myself, I've heard big numbers, dude. I've heard some long-term numbers, like 12 months, 18 months. Those are numbers I've heard tossed around. I'm not saying that that's going to be what it is, but also ain't nobody coming out and saying what it is going to be.
Yeah.
So it's only natural that people can speculate and be like, oh, how fucking long are we going to do this, you know? But I can tell you one thing, dude. If you think that we're going to be on like this for that fucking long, it's not going to happen. They can say it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen the same way in the fucking 20s when you know, they outlawed alcohol, prohibition, and you saw the speakeasies pop up because
Yeah.
people still wanted to drink and bars still wanted to be in business, so they did it underground. The same thing, you look at the drug war, you know, weed is illegal, coke is illegal, heroin's illegal. I ain't stopping any fucking junkies and potheads from smoking and drinking and all the other shit they do.
That is the thing, though. Like, that's been one thing I've been thinking about. Like, I think Michael was saying he heard outside the window the other day, like, some junkies being like, yeah, how are we going to score once everything gets locked down and shit? So it's like, I don't know. They're thinking about it, too.
That's what I'm worried about, but with girls, dude. How am I going to score, dude? Can't score, dude.
Damn, dude. Find that old private video you made for the homemade fleshlight. Let's fucking get it popping, dude.
Just relearn all my old techniques.
Yeah, you went to go pick up your fucking shotgun from your parents' house and your mom's lotion.
Yeah. And rubber gloves that I'm not using for sanitation, just using for fucking the inner wall, dude. Jimmy, you've been practicing not having sex for 21 years. I think you'll be good. But there is a certain point where the idea of achieving total lockdown and the idea of doing that, it's just not possible, dude. It's just
dude,
not fucking
it's bad,
possible.
dude. I miss my bae, dude.
And we could see. Oh, you haven't even seen your girlfriend at all?
No, I mean, on the way here, I drove by. She's like in quarantine with her family, and she just like came out to the porch, and I like was at the bottom of the stairs, and we're just talking for a little bit. But like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard, bro.
You know what I find very offensive is I've been ghosted twice in this 1 week. And what I think is the most offensive about that is now's a perfect time to make an excuse why you can't hang out.
Yeah,
Like, you don't even have to come up with an elaborate,
you're
I'm
like,
going
yeah, I got a sore throat and
Yeah,
a
you don't
dry cough. So I don't wanna,
just literally,
yeah,
like,
just say I have a fever. I
if you're a
can't come
chick,
out.
if you're a dude or a chick who doesn't want to hang out with somebody, it's the easiest time in history.
Yeah.
Just be like, sorry, I'm either sick myself
Sorry,
or
my
I'm
roommate just
social.
came back positive, so I'm not allowed to leave the house for 14 days.
Like, I'm social distancing. All you gotta do is like, I'm not doing that. But no, not even that, dude. That's. I was
so
hurt.
funny.
I was hurt. I was like, there's so many texts you could have sent. You spent with nothing. It's whatever, dude. I've also been like, at first I was like, oh, this is awesome, dude, because now I don't have to do anything. I can just hang out with people, and then I forgot about the not hanging out with people part.
Yeah. It's the hardest part, man. I was on a good streak. This is my first time I've been hanging out with someone, so you better not fucking compromise me, dude. You better not make
You know
me
what's
get this
amazing
shit.
is the amount of people that I know personally. Like Lucas said that he like feels like shit and like is coughing and stuff like that. And I'm asking, like,
What?
you think you got the virus? And he's like, nah, probably not.
What? What the fuck, bro? Come on.
I know.
Why did you fucking let me come out here?
Dude, I haven't been making out with Lucas. I haven't seen him in a fucking week. He's been quarantined.
Okay,
He hasn't
so you
come
haven't
over-
seen him. Okay, I thought he was like over at your house, fucking hacking up, being like, "Yeah, I don't feel too good."
No. He came over
Thank God.
like a week ago, most recently.
Well, no, it's crazy. Didn't he just go on like some ski trip?
Yeah,
Went right through that airport, man.
that's true.
There's like TSA agents coming back positive. They're touching people all day for 9 to 5.
Dude, if I feel anything, I immediately think it's coronavirus.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody does.
Oh yeah,
But so far, I think I might have gotten the coronavirus in December, dude.
yeah. I think I
think
might
I
have had
did.
it already because I did have a bad sick, in like January or something. Kind of like on the tail end of you getting it. Like I don't think we shared it, but I think just like it was going around.
I remember when we were talking 2
And
months
that's
ago.
the thing too, like, you know, there's a conspiracy that the US brought it to China or whatever and yada yada yada. But I will tell you this. I saw a meme. I don't know if this is real or not, but you know, people are saying like they want to rename the Spanish flu to the 1914 flu because like calling it the Spanish flu is just like calling it the Chinese flu or the Chinese virus and it's like derogatory or whatever. But if you look into the origin of the Spanish flu, it came from China.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. That was a big bomb.
So So
And like I said, I don't know if that's true. I saw it in a meme, but
I've seen a lot of
Come on, bro.
opinions on the Spanish flu float around. I saw somebody write on a Facebook comment that actually the flu started in Italy, but then the Italians started calling it the Spanish flu, and then somebody like it was like called different things by different people because of where they got it from or something like that. I personally, I don't really have any issue with calling it like the Wuhan virus, or I really
Yeah.
don't even care if you call it the Chinese virus for no other reason. There's been so many other fucking viruses.
What about Kung Flu?
I think that's hilarious.
I honestly think it's pretty funny too.
I think it's fucking hilarious. I think you gotta have a little bit of sense of humor. Like, I mean, like I get it. Some fucking dude.
And I'm not like yelling at a fucking Asian person, like, stay away from me. You got the Kung Flu. You don't come over here with those fucking string work fucking Chinese dragon flying fire tiger moves on your wire axe.
Fucking
coming
Chinese
over
New
here,
Year
coughing at me.
ass, March 20, fucking having ass, fucking ding 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 flu. I don't fucking know.
I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but
Neither
like,
of us are.
look, listen.
That was all a character.
I'm all for if you want to bring up a legitimate, constructed argument of why you think that calling it the Kung Flu is so detrimental to whatever. But if you can at least first look him in the eyes and tell me that's not hilarious before we go into the social repercussions of it, I don't want to hear it, dude.
Also, I think like
Admit it's funny.
I think some people are like arguing that like, hey, like Asian Americans are being discriminated against, or like there's some videos of like fucking dudes in like Harlem beating up an Asian person. But also, it's like I don't think Kung Flu was the predecessor to them doing that.
These are jokes. Like Kung Flu is a joke.
I think that was just like stereotyping and racism.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think it was the word Kung Flu.
Also-
they probably haven't even heard that word yet.
They probably haven't. But also, if you're talking about people, like if you're trying to make sense of things and you think Chinese Asian people have the virus, the last thing you should be doing is walking up to them and fucking beating the shit out of them, dude.
Yeah, you're touching the virus.
If anything, stereotyping against everyone is probably a good thing in this. We're social distancing, dude.
Social
You know,
distancing,
if I
dude.
think I'm gonna catch coronavirus by beating up an Asian guy, I'm probably not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Now I'm not gonna do it in the first place.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm definitely not gonna do it now.
Yeah.
Definitely. You could put that on my tombstone, dude. I definitely will not beat up any Asian
Jimmy
people.
Scorsese, 1992 to 2020.
Got his ass beat by an Asian man. But not before catching the
Yeah,
coronavirus.
But also put the other thing on my tombstone too. Damn. I had some notes because we were going to do this the other day. I was so bored I wrote notes.
Yeah, dude. What do you got? I'll just put closing.
So I talked about the Antarctica thing in my notes.
Good.
We touched upon it a little bit. There are like those photos of like swans and like dolphins showing up in the Italy canals, like since there weren't like boats in it and shit. And like apparently some of that is fake. I think like the swans thing was fake, and maybe some of the Clearwater pics were fake, but I think the dolphin thing is real.
Probably.
Which is pretty crazy.
Probably.
Because I think because there aren't boats going through the canals and in the shipping segments, so like they're just fucking exploring, checking it out, which is honestly pretty cool. Like, kind of goes to show like when
kind of goes to show that dolphins aren't very good at practicing social distancing.
no,
tell
I
you
think
that
it.
much.
I mean, it can't transfer species to species unless it's in a wet market. So
Oh, true.
no, I just think I don't know. It's interesting to see like when it was going on in China heavy, you saw that their emissions like completely just halted, and like if that just happened from now on, like global warming wouldn't be a threat. Like,
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see like the way nature comes back into societies. Like I think in Japan, like since there aren't any tourists, like there's a city in Japan that has like almost like domesticated deers. Like they're still wild and they roam around, but like they're very friendly to humans, and like they basically survive off just tourists giving them food. So that they've just been like wandering around in like subways and into the city, and
Yeah.
like monkeys in fucking Thailand who do the same thing. Apparently, they're roving around in gangs.
Yeah,
fucking trash and shit.
Yeah, 'cause there's
it's
no-
fucking
yeah.
crazy. Like, it's crazy to see like just the fucking
The
what's
effects
it
of
called?
everything.
Just the effects, but also like what's like
The good word.
the word I'm trying to think of, like
Repercussions?
like the hierarchy, like the
The food chain.
food chain.
Food chain.
Dude, we took ourselves out of the food chain, and it's interesting to see like either the positive effects that we have on stuff and the negative effects.
Well,
that we
and
have
that-
on stuff.
exactly. I'm
It's
glad-
really crazy.
I'm
It's
glad
like,
you
it's
said
kind of
that.
crazy.
because I think what you can take away from this situation is there's everybody in this day and age wants to revert to the extreme of everything. They want to revert to, okay, well, this happened in this time and this place, and so like obviously whatever we're doing, whatever we have done up to this point in history needs to be completely 180, and we need to change everything we think about everything. And it's like, okay, take a fucking breather for a second, because you could obviously say that when you see like emissions getting lowered and things like that, okay, so this has exposed the effect of our regular day-to-day activity prior to this happening. It has exposed how shitty of an effect we've had on things.
Yeah.
But you could also look at things and say like, okay, that same technology and that same advancement and innovation and all the things that were driven by the way we've been doing things throughout the course of history are the reasons why something like the Black Plague or the Spanish flu took out 100 million people, killed 100 million people. It killed more people than I think it came out right after World War I. Which makes sense because that was like a time in history where everybody from across the world came in contact with each other, disease spread, blah, 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 trenches,
Yeah.
all that shit. But it killed more people than World War I and World War II combined, I think. Like hundreds of millions of people. And so the same advancement in the same direction in society that has driven us from 100 years after the Spanish flu, taking the measures that we're taking now to make sure that nothing like that ever happens again on that scale, means that we've kind of been doing something right.
Yeah.
You know, so let's not look at this situation and say, oh, everything we've done, all innovation, all fucking business and things like that are terrible fucking things, because it's the reason why you're not fucking, sitting in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So obviously we need to take a step back and be like, maybe there are adjustments we need to make, but it's just,
dude, we flew too close to the sun, and then nature was like, all right, we need a little time. We need a break. We need a break. Here's a little virus for y'all. Fucking just chill out. Let me fucking, I need some self-care.
it is amazing how viruses work. Dude, I was looking it up and like just watching like,
Have you seen like pictures of viruses? They look so crazy.
Yeah.
But also like when I saw a picture of a virus, I was like, oh, I remember that from a Jimmy Neutron episode. It's like, oh shit, they're actually like making it look like a real virus.
Yeah, like it is weird when you look at. There's like some that look like fucking robots. It's
Yeah, they look
crazy.
And that's the kind of shit that makes me be like, is this like all a simulation?
Dude.
Because like when you see a fucking virus and it just looks like a little fucking robot that's inside your body, it's like, what else is in my body that's like this? Like,
Dude.
does my entire body look like this inside? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Pretty
Like,
fucking much, dude. I mean, you look at how a virus isn't a living thing, A virus is technically, which is why antibiotics don't work on it, because it's not alive.
Yeah.
It is a bundle of DNA or RNA. It's a bundle of like proteins that basically, and it's the reason why we have the term computer virus, is because what it does is, if you think about what a computer virus does, which I'm not super familiar with, but I'll tell you what a virus does in terms of like, human beings and life, is it gets
Dude,
into
I
a
got
cell.
all the time in the world. Keep on
Dude, fucking let's
flowing,
do it.
bro.
Fucking let's do it.
Keep on
It
going.
goes into a cell and it has a packet of information. It's not a living thing. It infects a cell by tricking the cell into letting it inside its wall or its membrane. Once it gets inside the membrane, it infects the whatever the processor within the cell that tells the cell to do whatever job it does. Let's say it's a blood cell or a skin cell or a brain cell, whatever it is. Whatever that cell may be, it has a processor that tells the cell and synthesize things to like make that cell perform that specific function that it was designated for. The virus gets inside of that processor. I forgot if it was the mitochondria. I don't know what the fuck it is. Whatever thing it is that makes a cell do something.
AP Bio was a long time
It was
ago,
a long time
okay?
ago. It was a long time
Okay.
ago. Let's not
been
get into
10
semantics
years,
here,
okay?
folks. Just appreciate this for what
It's
it
been
is.
13 years, okay?
I'm on my fucking 5th cigarette in 10 minutes. Just give me a fucking break. But it gets into that processor and it reprograms the cell to simply regenerate more of that virus molecule. So it infects the cell, it gets in there, and then the cell, instead of performing whatever function it was performing, now is simply there as a host to regenerate more and more and more of this virus. Once that virus becomes so compacted in there with all these viral molecules within that cell, the cell creates so much that it eventually bursts. Once the cell bursts, all those viral molecules get into your bloodstream and it goes into other cells in your body and completes the same process. I forgot what the term at that point is, but that's what happens. And so it's almost amazing to think of how our bodies work too. Because once that happens, is probably the initial. It takes your body a certain amount of time to register what the fuck is going on. If your immune system has not seen this particular strain or this particular whatever it is as a threat in the past, it doesn't know to perceive it as a threat. So it takes a certain amount of time that a virus can incubate within your system before your body actually reacts to it, which is why the incubation period for coronavirus is probably as long as it is, because the symptoms that when you have a symptom, when you have a symptom, a fever, for instance, that is an immunal response. That is your body heating itself up to try to kill the virus.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that the virus causes the fever. It's that the virus is detected within your body, and at that point, your body's
response. And
your body's
action.
response to
Yeah.
it. So for something like this, which has never been seen within herd immunity, as we referenced earlier, it takes a certain amount of time for your body to catch on. Now, once it does catch on, it is literally amazing to think that your body has this natural ability to detect the threat and kill it off.
Yeah, it just knows how to do it.
It's unfucking believable. It's funny that you think about like a computer virus, because a computer virus essentially does the same thing. It goes into your computer and it makes this fucking it uses your computer to do whatever process it tells you to do. It doesn't exist on its own. It needs a host. It's also why we use the term going viral in social media and things like that, because that's how that shit works. It really is fascinating to see how viruses work and to understand it's not a living thing. It's just a fucking I was going to say it's just a virus, but it is a virus. It's literally a fucking virus, dude. That shit's been going on forever.
Yeah. One thing about this quarantine that I've definitely noticed is like, just because I've like been online so much more, like I'll like run through my Instagram feeds and like be like, all right, there's nothing new, or like I'll go through Twitter and shit, and I'll like finally start seeing like posts from people that I haven't seen forever. Like I just got a post from Ronda Rousey on Twitter the other day, and I flipped out because I like clicked on her profile. I was like, is this an ad? And then I was like following Ronda Rousey. And I was like, why am I following Ronda? Like, when did I do this? Like,
The virus, bro.
the virus, bro.
Following fucking people.
I'm in quarantine cleaning my fucking followers, dude.
Oh, I've
unfollowed a ton of people.
I got real petty
Just
past
because I'm
week.
like, why am I following you?
Dude, I unfollowed like virtually. If you're not a previous guest on the podcast or a mutual friend of you and me, I unfollowed everybody on the podcast page. We're down to like 135 following.
Damn.
I had to
We
do
got
it,
a
bro.
good ratio, bro.
Oh, we got a great ratio. 10.9K, 135 following. Come on, give me a fucking
I gotta
break.
see this for my own.
It's fucking sweet. And I did the same thing for my own personal page. Got it down to just like people that I, basically people that I know and that are following me.
Yeah.
If I know you and you're not following me, dude, we talked about it. It's all over with. It's all over with. I'm sorry, unless you're super hot. But
Otherwise, over.
this next sip is brought to you by Corona Light.
Yeah, dude, we gotta cool off Miller High Lifes. Apparently, those are incubators for the virus.
Yeah, dude.
That's what I heard, at least.
You think so, dude?
No.
That's Corona propaganda, dude. They're trying to fucking spin it on other beer.
I will say, I've seen a ton of fucking Corona ads on TV recently.
Also-
I've seen a ton of them, dude. Like almost every commercial break during something I was watching the other night, It was literally just Corona
On like regular TV.
regular TV. I
jeez.
finally got it fixed, dude. No green screen. Fucking but fucking dude, I saw so many Corona ads. It was insane.
Dude, you want to talk about opportunism? Think about go on Netflix, guys. Go on Netflix and tell me how many fucking shows and series are currently out right now that have to do with
pandemics and shit. Yeah, dude.
it's fucking opportunity. So when we
And also, it's like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see what the worst could be. Fuck that,
but
bro.
what's crazy is like people do. People are watching that
dude,
shit.
Yeah, the top 10 on Netflix is like half quarantine shit and then other like escape from reality shit.
I think,
Like,
this is a time if Netflix wants to show their true colors. I think in the same way that Pornhub extended premium memberships to all citizens of Italy, which I thought was a dope move, Netflix should be putting on the best shit right now. They know everybody's at home. They should be fucking putting on. I shouldn't scroll past one movie and be like, that's trash. They should be, if they really want to put on for people, they should have that fucking thing stacked.
fix your algorithm.
Exactly.
Know what I did though? So apparently, like a bunch of movies are like on streaming now, like stuff that should be in theaters. So I watched the new Pixar movie Onward, just because I was like, I need something happy. I need like usually a Pixar movie will make me like cry too, and I'm like, I need a cry. I need like a happy movie. So I watched Onward, dude. It was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
I
Did you cry?
really liked it. Know what? I didn't cry though. So
you're
I don't know
mean,
if
dude.
that's like I don't know if that's a thing. Like maybe I would cry at those movies when everything was great and everything was okay and everything was. And now I'm in a state where I'm like, I'm not gonna cry.
Who
at
fucking
that.
cares, dude?
Yeah, whatever.
Catch Me on Christmas, and we were both crying at the Hey Arnold episode.
Yeah, dude.
That's when we were in a state.
That was real. Okay, that was real.
That was fucking good, dude. But in regards to the whole thing where I was talking about like how Netflix is now releasing all this like pandemic related content and shit like
And it's
that.
not even they're just releasing it. It's like they're putting it on the forefront of their fucking Discover page. It's like I'm not trying to watch fucking Pandemic, dude.
I think that one of the repercussions, however the fuck you pronounce it, of this situation could be if our economy gets to a point where we, like what we've been talking about before, this is a prime time for rival nations to step in and fucking fuck us, dude. Fuck us.
I don't know about that. I just think, yeah, I don't know. On like a global scale, like, I don't know. It might just like become fucking Mad Max or some shit. Like not to that extreme, but like to the same aspect of like fucking cities are a fucking like quarantine zone and like no in or out, or like if someone fucking tries starting trouble, everyone has their fucking weird ass guns we 3D printed and like fucking I don't know, man. That was another thing. Like I was looking into buying a gun, or if I could make my 3D printer make a gun.
That would be phenomenal. Well, do you have any? Could you roll me a spliff, by the way? That'd be phenomenal if you could, because I'm about to delve into some strange thoughts right now. But not before taking this piss, actually.
Yeah.
Just 1 second.
We'll take a little breather real quick. Get it popping, you know. Maybe I'll try to solo it.
Yeah,
We might have to like do some solo casts coming up, dude. It's crazy. Shit's getting crazy out here. Fuck, what else did I want to talk about? I'm gonna go through my list once again. Talked about Antarctica, talked about the dolphins. Working at home. I've been working at home for the last week. Last Monday, I still went into work, but halfway through the day, my boss was like, let's fucking just, we do a job where, like, fortunately we can work from home. Like, I do video editing most of the time, and, like, most of our shoot gigs obviously have been canceled. I was working from home. I got all my shit home on Monday, working from home Tuesday to Friday, and just trying to figure out. I had like one edit left in the bay, got that knocked out, and then kind of just trying to figure out plans on how to make money in video while this shit's going on. So I think like I'm gonna be going through all of our hard drives, getting all the information onto like a Google Doc or something, so we know where all the footage is. I'm gonna look through that footage, see if we can put it on like stock websites, get that figured out. Try to figure out like streams of revenue during these trying times. And luckily, Jimmy's gotten back, so I can stop talking
I
about
heard you
that.
begging for money on the podcast. Had to come back.
No.
Please.
No, I was just talking about like working from home and then trying to figure out like, because like I pretty much finished the last edit we had in our backlog. Like I took my shit home on Monday, like I was telling our audience already. I'm just trying to figure out like, all right, let me go through all of our footage, see what we can put on stock, see if we can get some extra money pumping through. Just trying to figure out ways to get shit popping. 4.5 Stars just came out, so I'm going to be going through some of that footage, getting clips, put it on IG and everything, and yeah, just making it work, dude.
Dude, and that's the mark. That's the mark of a winner, dude. This situation that we're in right now has really, I think, forced everyone to take a step back, but also just in our personal lives, like it's given, for instance, me time to think about, like, for instance, like it's almost, they always say the internet is a wild west, and it is because people are so immersed in that. But at the same time, it's even more so now. Everybody just needs content, dude. And so I think this is prime time for us to fucking just give it to them, dude.
Yeah, man.
Fucking pump it out.
Should we do a Patreon?
I would like to. I mean, it would be cool. I don't know what we would do differently.
Dude. We should do it. We can do an extra podcast a week, or maybe we can do like solo eps
or
to
even
put on there. Or, I don't even know.
Yeah, we got to think of something in terms of Patreon. Right now, I'm just trying to get people fucking. I think I told you about before the podcast. I want to take these episodes maybe on Tuesday nights, live stream the full episode, video version, and then throughout the rest of the week, live stream little clips, shit like that. Just keep it popping, stuff like that. Bonus content for free. No money making aspect to it at this point because I'm not smart enough to think about how to make money off of it yet. But just shit like that.
Yeah, just get it popping.
Mm-hmm. I got nothing else to do.
And also, everyone else has nothing else to do.
Exactly. It's a captive audience.
Yeah, I was talking to Michael actually today. We were talking about figuring out how to just like put his special out right now. Like we were planning on shooting like an intro and like a whole bunch of other stuff, but as the events in the news keep coming,
no longer a possibility.
Not at least for right now. So I was talking to him today about like I think maybe like he initiated it, but my idea was like, hey, let's just fucking maybe like you write a statement in the beginning addressing everything. And then boom, titles, boom, Scott announcing you right into the stand-up. And then I think we probably have enough B-roll from that night to just make credits and then just whip that out. And then he was saying put it up on YouTube for free right now and then figure out along the line when we can actually make the intro and then put it out on Amazon after that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, like, yeah, there's like literally just a captive audience of people who want to be entertained since shit's not really, you can't go visit your friends. You can't go to a bar. You can't go get brunch or whatever. Like all the shit we would shit on weeks ago. And it's like, oh, well, that was when we could do it. Now that I can't do it, I kind of want to do it.
Exactly. And it's like you almost think about it in terms of like, maybe this is what it took, dude. Maybe what they say is true. Maybe this is what it took. Maybe it took the end, like a global pandemic. Like somebody was like, guys, I wouldn't listen to your fucking podcast if it was the end of the world and I was locked in my house for 2 months and I wasn't allowed to do anything else. Only then would I listen to Live from the Studio. And we're sitting here like,
perfect.
Where we at, dog? Where the fuck are we at, bro?
You listening?
Oh, man. Hey, man, it is what it is, dude. I didn't biomanufacture this virus.
Yeah, man.
Maybe.
It's not on us, bro.
It's not on us, dude.
How's that piss?
It was good. Hope Miss Munn didn't watch. Miss Moon.
You go on the left side.
I went on the left side, but the right side, the correct side.
Yeah, the correct left side.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I might do the same in a second.
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out like if I'm gonna do anything else money wise, or if I'm just gonna like chill at this point, you know. Like, is that again going back to the whole like live stream where I was talking about like I don't want to fucking be so stubborn. Like for me, and you saw, you know, like for instance, I never fucking thank you very much by the way. I never fucking
Thought this was gonna come.
well, no, even when I was saying in terms of like when I was younger and I would have like that's why I never have ticketed shows.
Yeah.
I don't do that because for me it was always weird to ask people to come out and watch me if they weren't necessarily fans. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's almost in a way it's like taking advantage. And I know it's not a good way of looking at it, but the way that I always have, whether for better or for worse, was that you're almost using the fact that you have people that care about you and support you to be like, hey, come out and spend X amount of dollars to watch me play, you know? And in that way, it kind of seemed like an act of charity in a way. Because it's not like you're not listening to my music when you're driving around. You're not a fan of what I'm doing. You're coming out because, oh, it's Jimmy, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's always very difficult. That's why I do things the way I do, which is, you know, I play at a bar. And if you want to come through, come through. And they're not asking me, they're not telling me I have to bring a certain amount of people. And therefore, they're basically saying, look, we're a bar, we have people in here, and we want them to be entertained. And are you up to the job? And at that point, I'm like, yeah, cool. And then they pay me, and it feels like a transaction that's you're doing it. You know,
Yeah.
you're doing it for a living, which is why I'm doing it. But in terms of the whole live streaming thing, it was just like at this point, it's like I almost feel like it's me basically saying, well, I want to keep doing this for a living. I want to keep playing guitar, and now I can't play guitar at a bar, so let me stream myself and you can Venmo me. It's like, nah,
Yeah.
dude, come on. And that might change, dude, as my perceptions change. And I will say, again, when I found myself bored as fuck on Saturday night and I found myself watching those streams, I found value in it.
Yeah.
I saw the value in it, you know? But I think it would take a lot for me to get to the point where I do something like that. I think it's much more likely that I would probably just find a new way to make money.
Bagging groceries or fucking, I don't even know.
I mean, maybe.
yeah, who knows?
Maybe. You might have to do it, dude, for a
Yeah.
certain amount of time. I thought about going back to Seasons and just delivering pizzas in the meantime, but, you know, understandably, they were like, look, business is super. I mean, I didn't ask them personally. My brother, who works at Seasons as a side job, because obviously Ruth Chris, where he does work, is shut down.
Yeah.
But he was consistently working as a delivery driver for Seasons, like, you know, a couple hours a week or whatever. And,
They cut him back.
well, they were basically, he asked for more hours, and they were like, look, our primary priority is the people that this is their main job. So we got to make sure
Yeah.
that they're good. And so, like, you know, if they said it to my brother, obviously I'm not going to roll in there who hasn't worked there full time for 6 years and be like, yo, can I
Yo,
do some
can I be a
shifts?
bartender?
yeah.
No one's
yeah.
coming in. All right, I'm gonna go take a piss real quick.
Now's my time to fucking ask you all for money, folks. I took one hit off of this fucking spliff, and now I think I'm high, but I'm not high yet. But I'm already acting like I'm high. It occurred to me I have nothing to say. I got in a heated altercation before this podcast with my grandmother. Not myself personally, but my grandmother has like severe dementia on my father's side, and she's living at our house in the basement. And we were just sitting at the dining room table, and she suddenly just out of nowhere, I'm talking to my mom about whatever, this kind of stuff. And she just goes, why am I here? And at that point, she just starts like freaking out and just starts like crying. And like, you guys are holding me captive and you're trying to steal my house and this, that, the other thing. And it was weird. Put me in a whole different mood. You really see a side of people, but you also understand it, you know? because it's like there's so many aspects and elements of myself that I could see in the way that she was arguing with us that I was like, wow, that's how I argue. That's what I would say right now. If I didn't,
about your grandma.
yeah, it
Damn.
was crazy, dude. It was weird because you're right. Obviously, like she just refuses to believe she has a problem.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember things from 1 minute to the next. She repeats herself over and over again. She has like the same taglines, like my mother had an IQ of 3 and she never fucking did this to me. And it's like she said that at least 34 times, literally no exaggeration. And like,
Yeah, it's her go-to.
oh yeah, you can tell like how people's minds work when you watch it in
Damn.
repeat over
Yeah,
and over
yeah.
and over again. And like you saw how like the same things that she says, I could see like my dad saying and me saying, and because her mind isn't about her, she just reverts to that.
Yeah.
And so I saw a lot of elements of myself in that, which were, it's just weird. It's just weird to know that you are doing what's best for this person and they just don't. Like to see her like yelling at my mom and freaking out and like it made me really respect what my parents are doing, because if it were up to the other siblings, she'd be in a nursing home.
Yeah.
And it's almost getting to the point where I don't know if there's any other option, because I asked my mom today, I was like, what's stopping her? She's always talking about she's going to go home and she's going to call the cops on us if we don't take her home. Dude, she walked up to me and is crying, bawling, crying with a 10 and two $5 bills and said, Jim, please, I'll give you $20. Just please take me home.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God. And I had to be like, Mom, I can't take you home, And it was just like,
Ooh. Yeah, that's rough. Rough stuff.
well, I guess it is rough. I'm always but it just kind of, it just dragged me down a little bit,
Oh yeah.
I got in my car feeling like I had like a high level of anxiety, and I was like, I just kind of thought to myself, I was like, you're supposed to feel this way. What you just experienced is something that should cause this reaction.
For sure.
And in that way, it kind of helps because once you understand where the anxiety is coming from, it makes it easier, because once you can, I think anxiety is like the thing, you feel a certain way, but you don't know why.
Yeah.
And then once you can pinpoint the cause of it, then it gives you a whole different way of going about it. You see
a little
it.
easier to like handle and live with.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I always use the example of like when I was in wrestling and stuff like that, and if like the hardest things were never if a coach said, you're going to do 100 push-ups before you can go home, or you're going to do 50 sprints. It was never that. It was, you're going to do push-ups until I tell you to stop.
Yeah.
You're going to do sprints until I tell you to stop. That's way harder because you don't know. If you give me a thing and say you need to do 50 sprints, I won't like it, but I'll do it because I know where I have to get, and I'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
But if you just give me this indefinite problem that I don't even know what the problem is to even think of a solution, that to me is what anxiety is.
Yeah.
And so it's almost, I saw those feelings in myself when I got in my car, and then I was able to kind of like synthesize it and be like, oh, in this circumstance, it's perfectly justifiable to feel this way.
Yeah.
I know
why.
why-
And that's
yeah.
how she feels too, where it's like, why aren't they letting me leave? Why, like, what's going on? Like, da 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 da. Like, they keep saying just a little longer, or not today, or, and then, complete recycle of that.
Yeah. And what's even more amazing than seeing like the bad sides of people when they get to that point, but also you see the good in them too. Because whenever my mom would say, your son Tony, he's a good man, and this, that, the other thing, he's doing this for you, and for 5 seconds she'd get it,
Yeah.
and she'd be like, yeah, he is a guy, I would never think he would do this, and then it snaps again, and then she's back to forgetting you ever said that, and now she's attacking again. It's just this constant process of being like, Mama, why would we keep you here against your will? We don't want to sell your, like, we're us, me. And it's like, she actually remembered my name today, which
There
is
you
cool.
go.
And like, you could see that like she wouldn't yell at me, and she didn't used to ever yell at my mom either. She would never yell at my mom, but then I guess she lost her mind so much that now she'll yell at my mom too. And like, but you can still see those elements of like the person that she is.
Yeah.
Which is
See, like, the building blocks.
So again, it really kind of brings you back to your again the way she was arguing, the way that she was like making certain points. I was like, good point.
I feel like I would have said that same thing.
Yeah, I would have said it like stuff like
And
that.
I would have been right.
Oh, I've been right. It also made me think like, ooh, I hope this doesn't happen to me, dude, because I will be a fucking terrible person to have in your house if I think I shouldn't be in your house. That is no good. You'd never hear the end of it. But so far, it's only manifested itself on the female side of that family.
Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just something I was vamping about while you were taking a piss. I didn't know what else to talk about. Thought about telling people my Venmo.
No, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty nice piss. Felt pretty good. Went on the right side, but the left side, but the right side.
The left, right side. Yeah.
Yeah.
The right, left side.
And yeah. I don't know. It was weird driving here today. There's like no one on the road. It was kind of like, because you had talked about it on like the last podcast we did before shit even got like real.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, there's no one on the road, but there was no one on the fucking
Oh,
road.
yeah. I was fucking flying.
I talked about fucking Loch Raven a little bit, but like
Yeah.
other than that,
I think it's funny
Nobody.
because people think like, oh, I'll go where nobody is at, which is the
Yeah.
woods. And it's like,
Yeah,
well, that's where everybody's at now, dude. You're
Everyone's
fucking-
going there, bro.
Come on, dude.
I know. I
If you really want to go where nobody's at, take a walk outside. Nobody's there.
hospital. No one's there. No, yeah. I was totally considering like, oh yeah, like if there's a good day, I'm gonna go just take the Loch Raven trail. And then I was like, yeah, that'd be like the worst place to like, because you always gotta like walk past people there. It's like you're never getting 6 feet away
yeah,
from
dude.
anyone.
No, dude, that's a thin trail.
And I'm not walking down the fucking trail with a mask on, dude. It's the
Yeah.
opposite of what I want to do. I want to breathe all that nature in. So, yeah, that kind of like bummed me out because I was like, I can't even fucking do that. That sucks.
I know, dude. That's the one thing I wanted to do, dude. And I think the biggest kick in the nuts from this whole scenario is that this is probably like the best March we've ever had weather-wise.
I know.
Dude, it hasn't felt like winter since like March 4th. I remember, like March 2nd. Because I remember Lucas was over before he caught the coronavirus, hopefully.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
And he was like, nah, dude, I think it's just springtime now. I was like, come on, dude, give me a fucking break.
It is, though.
Yeah, you really
And I
think
love
that?
it.
Because I'm used to like usually
I
like
love it.
usually springtime kind of cock teases us a little bit. Like during the March period, it'll be like, we're warm. We're so warm. Come outside. Ooh, don't even wear a jacket. You don't need to wear a jacket. The next day, it's fucking like 31 degrees. And you're like, fuck you. Fucking you, motherfucker. And then, so I was saying, like, dude, yeah, we got nice weather, but it's the beginning of March. You don't think we're going to go back for at least a 1 week period where it just fucking sucks outside again? And we're like, oh, wait, it's still March. It's still winter. Hasn't happened yet, dude.
Hasn't happened
Which
yet.
is almost offensive because you're sitting in the fucking house looking outside and it's the best fucking March you could ever ask for. And I can't even enjoy spring right now. Like, I'm sitting on the balcony the other night and I'm thinking, like, this is, if I could just do whatever I wanted, this would be the perfect time. This would be so fun. And it was fun regardless, but it's just depressing.
Yeah, it sucks.
I fucking called you.
That was a fun call. That brightened my night, dude.
Yeah.
That was a fun
That was a good
call.
call.
We had a good call. It was a short but sweet call.
Yeah, we talked about some stuff. I think I was,
because you were hanging out at
Yeah.
Zach's at that point.
and,
You guys were keeping your distance.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna tell you to come up there, but I didn't realize that you were.
Dude, I was in it.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that was the thing too, where I was like, yeah, like if I fucking visit Jimmy or Alex, like I gotta touch the fucking elevator buttons, and everyone fucking touches those.
yeah. I've been elbowing the elevator buttons.
Yeah, that's a good
Been
call.
elbowing, trying to fucking blow on it to see. If
Yeah. Just bring
Push!
a fucking stick with you and just poke shit with it.
I went on a fucking run the other day through just wherever. I was so bored. I was so bored that I just kept running because I didn't know what else to do.
That's kind of sick, though.
No, it was just-
That's like Forrest Gump shit.
Literally,
Dude,
I was
you're gonna
Forrest
get
Gump.
you're gonna get coronavirus, dude. Tom Hanks has it.
Oh shit! I was jogging around and running in circles, and I ran out to like Lockraven Boulevard and Cromwell Valley Road, like right before the exit there.
Yeah.
And
Damn, that's a long run. You went all the way down Joppa?
Oh yeah, dude.
Nice.
I probably did that like twice
And then
as
you
much.
looped back around the mall and shit and went back up?
Yeah. But I was like all over the place, like just
Yeah.
weaving and wobbing, whatever.
Wow.
That's not a thing. But
You're wobbing.
I was wobbing.
Speed wobbles.
I was wobbling.
You got too fast.
I got to this like I saw this like hill in the woods by the intersection. It had like this stone structure at the top. And I was like, ooh, what is that? And then I just started like climbing the hill. Like remember we went to Lockraven Cliffs?
Yeah.
And I was in flip flops and I was like fucking
yeah.
crab walking down, like backwards
What, you
crab
doing that
walking.
running? You're running up into the crab walk.
I was just climbing this hill just full of loose leaves and fucking sliding all over the place. My shoes have no
It was
traction.
raining.
And I get to the top and I never found out what the structure was, but I was walking around. There was like this little trail at the top.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh shit. So I'm walking around and I find these fucking cans from like the 60s and 70s.
Wow.
Like pop tops, like the way you open like an old can, like you just peel it back. And,
Yeah.
like, that was like beer cans and shit.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
looking at this.
yeah.
I'm like, wow, some dudes were fucking also on a run, but with beer 50 years
the
ago.
way you do in the 60s.
And they were just up there. And so that was kind of like brought me back. I always love moments like that. I always love when you
Yeah.
can just like kind
See,
of
like
like
a little time capsule.
it just is like time to yourself, and you just wonder, like, damn, when is the last? I'm probably the first person to be here in a long time, you know, obviously. I think
That's
the most
crazy.
recent can I found was from 2010. I found a can of Arizona tea, half and half. And I looked at the bottom. It was one of the few dates that I could read, and it said 6/25, or it said 25/06/10, which I'm assuming meant June 25th, 2010.
Yeah.
And I thought, damn, this person was drinking this half and half right after we graduated high school.
Damn.
And it's still there, dude. And like, I was drinking half and half when we graduated high school.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. It was super cool. It was super cool. And then I immediately ran back, tried to sprint the last block to prove to myself that I don't have coronavirus. It was like Tom Hanks isn't fucking doing this much running, motherfucker. And I fucking got to my apartment, and one of my old ex-coworkers, Chris from like Seasons Pizza Days, and then he went on, moved somewhere else. Not even moved somewhere, just went to a different place in Towson. He's a chef at Rec Room.
Transferred. Yeah.
He transferred to Rec Room in Towson Tavern. He's a chef. That's like the same kitchen, I think, or I don't fucking know. Don't hold me
Yeah,
to
they're
that.
connected.
They're connected. They're all by the same ownership. I don't know about the same kitchen. But he was just drinking out of a fifth of Fireball, just chilling in the fucking street.
Just lazing about in the street,
Yeah.
drinking a fifth
Talking to
of
this other dude,
Fireball.
and I'm fucking out of breath, panting my fucking ass
fucking
off.
coughing. You
Yeah.
got a fever from running so much.
And I'm fucking dying, and we're talking, and he just hands me the fucking fifth and goes, here you go, dude. And I just took a big fucking swig of Fireball.
Damn.
Big fucking swig of Fireball as my first drink while I'm still out of breath. And I gotta say, oddly refreshing.
Really?
Oddly refreshing. I would
Really?
never have thought that taking a sip of warm liquor could be anything other than completely
Disgusting.
miserable. Like
Yeah.
just the worst thing ever. But I think this is where Fireball gets a lot of fucking heat, is because people don't admit that if you're talking about straight drinks, there's a lot of ways you can make a shot.
Oh yeah, a shot of Fireball is great because it already has the sugar and like the taste in it.
Mhm, exactly. You got to talk about the shot for shot quality, not what you can mix it with. Obviously, you can take whiskey and tequila and different shots like that, mix it with something else and make it an awesome, green tea shot. Oh, fucking, whatever. I can't even think of another shot for some reason. Vegas. Who fucking knows, dude?
Vegas.
I've never drank in my life. But like,
Damn, dude, is it night already? Is it later? You said remind me later, and that popped up already.
yeah, dude.
God damn, boy.
Remember me? But like that was like, I'm talking about like, if I had to say in terms of just a straight drink that you had to take a shot of, that is the highest bang for its buck while also being flavorful, but also worth your time, worth the money. If you're gonna do a shot of something, I want it to be a full shot of something. I'm not paying $10 for a mixed drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're talking about that, I'm going. Fucking Fireball is phenomenal. Other than that, I would say Grand Marnier. Grand Marnier is sweet. Jaeger is another one
Yeah,
that you can
Jaeger's
just
not
drink.
bad.
You can just drink it as a shot, and it just does it. You know. But other than that, as far as like regular liquors, probably tequila is the easiest.
I'm still, maybe the quarantine will help me with
For a
that,
shot.
but I still can't do tequila. I still can't do it.
You're gonna have a lot of practice, dude. A lot of drinking on my own has been achieved in the past couple days. So if you're anything
Honestly,
like me,
yeah, I mean, like the one night that you called me, when did you go do the parking lot beers? That was like 2 days ago. It
was Friday
right?
night, yeah.
Yeah, it like wasn't long ago.
yeah. It sounds like
But
forever ago.
It sounds like forever ago. But I think that night I did have like, because I stocked up before everything got crazy. So I got like a bottle of whiskey, I got a bottle of gin, I got like a bottle of wine and a bottle of like sparkling wine. And I was like, I'll be good with this. I like straight up, I got some charcuterie too. I got like
There
a
you go.
baguette. Like I was stocked up. But that was the first time I poured the whiskey. I did a little
Wow.
whiskey lemonade that night because I was drinking it when you called me, and I was like, "Ooh,
Ooh, this
this
is
is
the
almost
perfect.
like we're hanging out."
Yeah, dude, just drinking whiskey. Now, myself, on the other hand, have drank so much in the past few days that the most recent time I walked into a liquor store, the cashier just laughed.
Damn, that's fucked up.
So there's
Damn.
that gives you an idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had like 12 bottles of Natty Boh in my fridge. I maybe gone through like 5 of them. I haven't been going crazy. Well, there's definitely been a couple of nights when I'm like, because I've been drinking a lot of tea, and there's been a couple of nights where I'm like, let me just throw a little mushroom in here.
Ooh, really,
Just
dude?
to fucking giggle, dude.
How
I
does
miss
that-
giggling.
You haven't had
I
any
miss
bad
just
trips
seeing
with all the
people and
fucking-
giggling? No,
Really?
no.
I feel like now would be a weird time to take.
Well, I haven't done like a
hallucinogens.
crazy amount. I do like
Okay.
an amount to be like, oh, this movie is very funny.
Have you ever had a bad trip
Um,
on
I'd
anything?
Say, I'd say the first time I did mushrooms, there was definitely a point in my trip where I was like, I just felt like a piece of shit, and like I felt like a piece of shit to my parents, and I felt like a piece of shit to like other people, and I would call that like part of the trip a bad trip. But as long as you're like, I don't know, it's hard to like say any of this without sounding like douchey or pretentious, but like, I don't know, it's those things come at you and they're bad because in reality they are bad, and it's like you just need to figure out during that time in the trip to be like, all right, how am I going to fix this?
Yeah.
Like, what steps after this can I make to like wrong these rights or whatever?
Yeah.
And that's what it's always been for me. I've never had like a thing where it's like, monkeys with wings are flying at me
yeah,
like the Wizard of Oz or some shit, or like,
Yeah.
I don't think any of that shit is honestly like real. Well, to be fair, I haven't gone like crazy deep into it. I've never even done like an eighth at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
But like anytime I've ever had like a thing that I think people do call those like bad trips, because I remember like one of our mutual friends during that first trip I took kind of had the same thing I was going through, but like he was more vocal about it and like kind of just like stuck in like a loop and like stuck on into that thing.
Oh.
And like I think that's what people do, are like, yeah, that's a bad trip, like blah blah blah.
So yeah, it's a negative feedback loop. You just
And like, but I think if you are aware, and like whenever you do anything like mushrooms or acid or anything like that, I think you need to be aware that like it is the drug doing it. Like as long as that is in your back pocket, you're like, I think you're fine.
well, you
Like,
know what always scared
but also like if you're a person that is like, not willing to use the experience as a
Yeah.
means of change or self-acknowledgement of things you're doing, or like
Yeah.
a certain amount of like ego death to like actually see what's going on and get like an out-of-body experience about yourself. Like, I think that would lead to more bad trips than
You
anything
have
else.
the reason why I think some people, or at least myself personally, were scared and still apprehensive every time I do any type of thing like that, like acid or mushrooms. It's always like a real thing. I don't just casually do that. I kind of closely think about the situation that I'm going to be in and whether or not it's a doable situation or anything like that. But the reason I'm scared is not the reason I feel that way is
The
because
reason you're petrified.
the reason I'm fucking mortified of the idea of drugs. But like the reason
scare little baby with a diaper that I'm peeing in right
pussy
now.
ass bitch is because I am a little ass pussy ass bitch. But the reason why I get that way is because on one end I understand that yes, it is the drugs that are making you feel this way. But nothing that the drugs are revealing to you
Is something that wasn't there already.
exactly.
Yeah.
And so
And that's what I mean by like, you have to also acknowledge like, you have to kind of use it as a means to jump over the hurdle instead of let it stop you.
and just understand that you're not a perfect person and that
Yeah.
you're gonna recognize you're gonna realize how much just in your daily life and you know what I think is going back to the whole anxiety thing is there's so many underlying thoughts that are going on in your mind, in your subconscious, that you don't ever consciously pinpoint out or acknowledge. The same way that going even back to the viral thing, like with a computer virus where it's running all these things in the background, it slows down your computer, but you don't actually see what's happening. And so when you take
And you get the symptoms. You get it
Yes,
slow
you get
down.
the
You
symptoms.
get weird things. And then
Yes.
you're like, all right, so now I got to figure this out.
yes, but when you take something like shrooms or acid or anything else that kind of makes you be interested, even when you smoke when I smoke weed, I get very much in that mind state. But it gives you an opportunity to actually see firsthand what's actually going on
Yeah.
behind the scenes in your mind. And I think that's terrifying to people. At least for me, I'm scared. I was scared to see who I was because I was
Yeah.
afraid I wouldn't like it.
Yeah. And I mean, I can definitely see that as like a fear for people. But I don't know. It's also like, sorry to bring it back to Wizard of Oz again, but
Please
you
do,
know,
dude. I
the
was waiting
wizard
for it.
behind the curtain. You know?
Yeah,
Like a lot of people don't want to open that curtain and see what's actually going on.
exactly.
But I don't know. Life is so short, and like, it's like it's hard to not want to figure that out. It's hard to like once you actually like are attuned to yourself and like what is going on around you and how the world works and whatever else you want to fucking let block you from being a total complete person. Like, I don't know. I forget where I was going with
Well,
that.
no. It's like the same thing where it's like for me, like I've talked about it before, like I don't have health insurance, which means I don't regularly visit a doctor. I don't remember the last time I've been to a doctor to have any type of checkup or anything.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason for that, and even if I did have health insurance, I probably wouldn't schedule appointments that often because I'm scared to go to the doctor. Not
Yeah.
scared to go to the doctor, like I'm scared, but it's
But
just
like you're happy or not knowing.
yeah, and it's
You'd
like
rather be in the Matrix than take the red pill.
exactly. And so it does take a certain amount of like, but that you also recognize that that's obviously not a healthy mindset, which is to, out of sight, out of mind. If I don't go to the doctor and find out I have cancer, then I will know I have cancer.
But a
So
lot of
I'm
the
good.
time too, I think like, I mean, not to like say that is a good thing for most of our listeners to do. I do think a lot of stuff is like mental, and like, you can see in like medical studies where like placebos work half as much as the actual cure for things.
Yeah.
Just because like if people think something that they're doing is helping them or, not hurting them in any physical means, or like, it usually, like, if you trick your body into thinking something, it'll happen. And that's the main thing with like coronavirus right now is like we were talking about it earlier, but like anything that happens, we're like, oh, is that corona? Like, oh shit, fuck. Like I did that. That's not one of the symptoms online, but I don't know. Like that might be it. And it's like the same thing that does is like on the positive side, it works just as well.
Well, you need a balance of both, and that's not to say that every single person who takes a, because there are people that I don't think anything of that and just take acid, just fucking have a good time and fucking chill or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, but I think if you're a reasonable person, then you understand that is what's going on, and you understand that, and it almost, because I have that mindset, because I do understand that that's what's going on, it actually is probably the reason, and probably the same for you, probably why we haven't had bad trips.
Yeah.
Is because we've understood what was going on. You know, we understood that if you have a negative thought and you keep running with it, it leads to another negative thought, and you just keep spiraling and spiraling to the point where if you don't have the state of the presence of mind to know what's going on, you can't stop it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I totally agree with that. Yeah, but other than that, just fucking straight chilling, dude.
Yeah.
Straight chilling in this quarantine.
I think now would be a cool time to do it. Even though you've been microdosing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think maybe it could be a good time to like do a crazy thing, but also like, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's like the best thing to do. It maybe like once my like the 14 days is up or whatever, and like I know that I'm good and clear, maybe just because like that would probably weigh in my mind a little bit, but also I don't know, I'd rather wait until like the first day we're finally free and like get to go into like nature and fucking
that'd be beautiful.
That'd be beautiful.
That'd be fucking sweet.
Because it's already like when you do higher doses of like, you know, mushrooms or acid or whatever, like it really just kind of makes you stop and appreciate everything. Like it just makes everything seem so, you know, instead of just like passing by a fucking bush that just fucking brought its flowers out in spring, you'd like sit and be like, oh, that's fucking beautiful. Like, I wonder how long this has been here. Like,
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like, after hundreds of years, it like chose this color. Like, I don't know. Like,
it just goes to show you how much on a regular basis our mind is just on autopilot.
oh yeah.
Like, we
and
just-
I mean, especially with the quarantine, that's like, you know, everyone's schedules are so disrupted now. They're like, oh shit, like I used to love going for a fucking walk and running into people in the grocery store and fucking going to the farmer's market or whatever bullshit, going to a movie, going out to the bars, like, you know.
Which is why kids have that sense of wonder, is because, you know, and why I think it'd be a beautiful thing to experience that again through a kid's eyes when the first time they see a fucking the ocean or something, like anything, you know, a fucking tiger at a zoo, and just seeing like how, like, that's the first time they've ever experienced that, and to experience something with a fresh palate, you know, and not be hindered by, you know, I might walk through the woods on a regular day and just not ever really take the time to just appreciate how beautiful it is, or look at the water and not ever really take the time to appreciate how beautiful it is, because it's just second nature at this point to me, you know.
Exactly.
And you can achieve that without psychedelics, I think. It really is just about putting yourself in new situations, which again is why I hold such value in doing stuff like just going on that run. I know it probably looks weird from somebody driving by to see some grown ass man slipping and sliding up a hill in gym shorts. You know, like I always forget that, like,
this podcast playing on speaker mode.
I always forget that, like, I'm not a kid and I can't just be.
You can't just do shit.
I can't just do shit. Like that time when I was running, I took the whole wrestling team on the run in high school, like for like a off-season workout after school, and I had everybody climb the ladder on top of the National Guard building and do pull-ups on the top of the building, and a fucking guy came out there with a rifle and was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh my God.
And they had everybody come down and they called the police, and I think we all got police citations for doing it. And like, I was 17 at that time. And I thought in a brief moment, because I couldn't find,
Dude, our taxes pay for this.
I couldn't find anything to do pull-ups on in my whole fucking apartment building. And I just kept on thinking about that time when I was in Dan's basement and he had that like thing that you put on your doorway.
Yeah.
And he was like, he said I could have it, but I didn't take it. And I just thought about calling, like, Dan, can I get that fucking pull-up thing, please? And so there was a part of my mind that in desperation was like, I bet you that pull-up bar on top of the National Guard building's still there.
Yeah, now is not the time to use that. National Guard is in full
I was
effect.
like, Jim,
dude.
what are you thinking, dude? This is obviously a bad idea. And then I tried to justify it to myself. I'm pretty sure it's not even the National Guard anymore. Dude. It's probably like a fucking bank or something. Or National Guard's all deployed, dude. They wouldn't think anything of it if the one guy in public started storming the National Guard
Jesus.
to do pull-ups.
Probably got fucking auto turrets on the roof now.
Oh
dude.
my
You'd be
God, dude.
done.
But there's still such a part of me that just loves that shit. Loves that. We used to call it aping when we were in high school, just run around and fucking climb on shit. And
Hell yeah.
so fun, dude. Can't do that when you're an adult. You fall
Can't
into
do
this
that.
like pattern where it's like, and I agree, it's perfectly not normal. And if I saw another guy doing that, I'd be like, what the fuck is that guy doing? This guy is
Yeah.
a fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't think that of myself when I want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, yeah, it makes sense.
Well, I think that's also like the struggle with people doing the social distancing and shit. Like a lot of people aren't taking it seriously because they think that like, oh, well, you know, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Nobody thinks it's them, dude.
No one thinks it's them.
No one is taking, you know, it's the same thing in the way I think a lot of politics work and the whole way that
Oh, yeah.
our economics work. It's just everyone thinks that they're not part of the problem.
Yeah, everyone thinks they're the good guy in the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And like, even though they're doing something bad now, it's like, oh, but later I'll do something good and it'll be okay.
I actually watched a really interesting thing on, I was like a Vsauce. It wasn't like a typical Vsauce video, but it was like the guy from Vsauce doing some like type of like social experiments and shit. And one of them was, they did this experiment on moral licensing, which is the theory that, so basically what the experiment was, I'll start there, was they held this like fake, like it was like a PSA type of announcement, like a PSA like, hey, make sure you clean your streams and don't litter and shit like that.
Yeah.
And they got to the location, which was like kind of reminded me of like Lake Montebello, like the kind of like whatever type of scenery, like a reservoir and a little track where people run around and shit. It was like that kind of place. And but there was like trash all over the ground when they went to go shoot that PSA. And so the staff went around to go pick up the trash. The people that were part of the experiment want to go. And then they were reviewing which people that had showed up to like speak to the camera and like say like, hey, don't litter and stuff. They were wondering which of those people would actually go and pick up the trash and help, as opposed to just like sit there and let everybody else do it and like think about whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And so, and then after that, they would have a homeless man walk up to the whoever was being looked at that time, and he would ask them for money. And what the experiment was to see that are people who didn't help pick up the trash, like they recognize that they didn't do something good, are they more likely to give to the homeless man money? And the results of the experiment tended to be the first guy up helped pick up the trash. And then when the homeless guy came up, he said he didn't have any cash, even though they had just they paid the guy like beforehand. So he had cash.
Yeah.
And he like made up some excuse. Like they paid him in like ones and he said like, oh, I don't have 20s, dude. Sorry. Like typical stuff you say to homeless people. Oh, I don't have any cash. I only have 100, whatever. And then the next guy who did help pick up the trash or didn't help pick up the trash, just kind of stood there and let everybody do their thing. He actually immediately gave the guy money when he came up. And so what they were noticing called moral licensing, which was the concept that we exist on this kind of like scale where like the amount of good we feel like we're doing entitles us to not do other things good. Or if we feel personally like, if we feel like we're -1 after not picking up the trash, maybe we try to do something nice to bring us back to even on the day.
Yeah.
And so that's what they called like when the terminology. I didn't know, I wasn't familiar with the term moral licensing before I watched this video, but it makes sense. Like just the idea that we all hold ourselves to like our own personal standard and we do things throughout like, and that's kind of where the whole thing, one of the criticisms is like the people that tend to be the most woke and like super like against this injustice and that injustice and all those things, like those type of vocal people that are always doing that shit on social media and stuff like that, I've always noted that those are the same people in real life. They're the same people who are constantly saying, raise the minimum wage and raise taxes on everybody and stuff like that. Those are the same people that, like, if you went out to a, like, redistribute wealth and everybody should be part of it, and like those are the same people if you went out to a bar with them, like after shifts or something like that, they'd never buy your ass a drink.
Yeah.
They'd never.
Or they like wouldn't tip or
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would be the people who were stingy in their own personal lives, but they felt like it was justified, or their moral licensing was, well, I'm promoting all these good ideas and things like that. I don't have to be a good person in my regular life.
Yeah.
You know, so it was an interesting concept, and maybe, you know, I don't know. I just saw it was like, it made sense. It was like, that
Yeah,
is
it
a
makes
psychological thing. Like we do feel that, you know, entitled to certain things.
Yeah.
Entitled to certain things. Like I feel entitled to climb the National Guard building because because I
There's
know
a pull-up bar up there.
yeah, I know with all the other things I know about myself that I'm not a maniac. You know, so I get to do whatever I want, because if somebody stops me, I just be like,
I'm not a maniac.
I'm not a maniac, dude. I know that's exactly what a maniac would say.
Damn, dude. We're giving out gold today.
I know,
We're
dude.
fucking letting our listeners fucking thrive in this quarantine.
I watched a lot of fucking shit about like weird ass social experiments like that, but that was definitely the most interesting, I would say. I watched one on like truth serum, where they like try to see how gullible something would make you, or like how
Really?
forced confessions and stuff like that, where like they did some experiment like trying to like force people to confess to something they didn't do in a workplace, and just see how easy it was and how it translates to the justice system. I was like, who cares, dude? Who cares, bruh? I want to hear about moral licensing, dude.
Oh, shit. Definitely one thing I have been thinking about in the quarantine is like, I just remember like whenever I'd make cookies with my grandma, she'd always, at least like in the beginning, she'd talk about like a bunch of different like recipes that like her and her family had during like the Great Depression. And like just how many people wish they wrote those down. Because I know I didn't. Like, I don't know.
What about the
Gotta figure out, dude, if shit gets bad, I gotta figure out how to make like a 10-course meal out of a hot dog.
That's true, dude. That's true. I think I got some couscous. I got some oatmeal. I don't think those two
Yeah.
go together unless you're trying to make tapioca.
Ooh.
That's
Dessert.
dessert.
You
Dude.
gotta figure out the entree first. You gotta figure out the aperitif.
Yeah, I think at that point you just get a bunch of stuff that's like super caloric, like potatoes. I was thinking about like a
Yeah.
potato famine in Africa, in Africa,
In China.
in China. But like what was it, Irish?
But that was
And-
also because like a certain amount of the potatoes went bad, right? So it'd be like the opposite of the potato famine. Like
was it they had too many potatoes?
No, it was because like a certain thing wiped out the potato crop or something, and that was like the main source of nutrition for people. So that's why it was a famine.
Yeah,
It's not because they had too many. Potatoes.
too many potatoes. What are we gonna do with all these potatoes, dude? I'm
At
starving.
least I think that's what it was.
No, I think you're right, dude. I think it's a very misnamed thing.
Know what I got a lot of? I got a lot of like the building blocks. I got like a bunch of flour. I got a bunch of sugar. I got a bunch of salt. I got I don't know. Other than that, like canned tomatoes.
There you go.
I got a bunch of garlic. I got like a spring mix of like veggies.
That's
in
gonna
a
go bad
box.
quick.
It's gonna go bad quick. But know what else I got? A microgreens kit. I'm gonna start growing
you can-
microgreens, dude. Yeah, I got like a little mixed seed pack of like arugula and a bunch of other like spring leafage.
I tell you what, dude.
What's up?
I was thinking about what would be the point. Like we watch movies like Mad Max and all that shit, like where it becomes like that kind of like weird world where it's like post-apocalyptic or whatever. I think that the difference between us becoming an uncivilized society and us staying in order is Wi-Fi. I think the
Really?
second shit gets to the point where we no longer have internet connection, it's all over.
Because that's
dude.
like a true quarantine.
yeah, that's a
Because
real
at least
quarantine.
right now, like we're we're quarantined, but we can at least talk to each other.
Yes.
Like if cell service went down, like texting down, internet down, if we were just all in our own little bubbles, it all burst, dude.
Dude, there was no such thing as virtual happy hours in medieval fucking Europe.
Yeah, during the Black Plague, dude.
It was
They would have stayed home.
They would have stayed home. Exactly. Instead, they're all
They had
like,
to
fuck
go to the
this,
happy.
dude.
They put those big ass fucking beak masks on with incense in them, not even protecting them from the plague. just made it smell better.
Smell better. But yeah, I think that would be it, dude. I think it's all fun and games until the Wi-Fi goes out.
Yeah.
That would be crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Not like we would have to rediscover. I was thinking about this on the way home from the studio the 5th time I drove back and forth because there's no traffic.
I'm just doing it for fun now.
Just fucking laps, time
Yeah,
trials.
I can't get out of my car anyway, so
Yeah,
let's just
racing my
drive it.
ghost Nissan Altima. F-Zero X style, dude. But like one of the times I was driving back, I got to the top of the circle where I hit the red light where I was like, this is fucking bullshit, dude.
Yeah,
Are
no
red
one
lights
else
still
is on the
mattering
road,
right
bro.
now? Who fucking knows?
I don't know. Red light cameras. I bet they're never shutting off.
You know what I just found out the other day?
Huh.
Because we were talking about red light cameras a lot on the previous podcast with Matt. There's only 4 or 5 operational red light cameras in the entire Baltimore County.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Because I looked it up because I was driving to Riptide on Saturday, my last gig as of now. And I kind of ran a red light going on to 83 from like the Charles Street exit down there.
Yeah.
Like it was like I like missed it by like 0.3 seconds. Like but enough to flash the camera off. But it was daytime, so I couldn't tell if the camera went off.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they have all those fake ones, like those prop ones, you know?
Yeah.
And so as I'm driving down 695 in the safest way possible, I was Googling. I was Googling, where are the red light cameras? And what I found after way too long of searching, I think I was like at the Fayette exit.
Oh my God.
By the time I found out the page
Never
that I
took
was
your
like,
eyes off your phone.
never just autopiloted down 83 and just looked up from it. And I saw that, yeah, the only one in Towson is like Goucher and Putty Hill or something. And there's like a couple in Catonsville. I think there's one up York Road. There's like only like 5 or 6. And there's a lot in the city.
Yeah.
But in the county, there's only 5 or 6, but they have the fake ones everywhere.
Interesting.
Yes. And so now, in this current state of things, I feel like you can just run red lights, which I will.
Okay. Okay.
And that is my
Fucking
justification.
spend all of your fucking check from the president on speeding tickets.
Yeah, dude, that is my moral licensing to do that because I was a good person by Googling for 15 minutes driving down 83 at 80 miles per hour. So because I put that time in,
I put in the work, okay?
now I deserve
Okay.
to further disobey the rules of traffic.
These red lights, you know what else is red? China.
China.
I think I'm stopping for China.
I think another beautiful thing, dude, even in regards to the China thing is everyone universally agrees that that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like surprisingly it hasn't. It's kind of like everything else is like people are talking about the Chinese virus and that the other thing, and like people have like differing views on that. But like Donald Trump saying China, that is just funny. It's just
Say
funny.
Chinese virus because it's from China, okay? Okay.
See, I don't care who
from
you
China.
are. That's fucking funny.
Okay. Okay.
That was fucking phenomenal. And it's almost that's another thing, dude. I really do think that things have somehow in these very trying times, somehow it's become like we've almost forgotten about like politics the way we were discussing them before.
Oh, yeah.
Like we forgot kind of
Yeah.
that like there's a primary happening still. Like every now and then I'll see like one guy post something about Biden or Bernie and I'm like, dude, what are you even talking about right now, dude? It's
Yeah.
fucking we got this to deal with, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be like if you were still posting
Too much
Epstein
going
memes
on,
right
bro.
now. Which
Some people are.
don't let this global
Hey,
pandemic distract
doing
you.
the Lord's work.
It just feels weird when you post something that doesn't have to do with whatever the fucking thing of the day is, you know?
Yeah.
But people are doing it. but we're not as like it's everybody like we're all in it together. There's like different people talk about, and that's why I think things like the army and being in a fraternity and any type of like social group, you have that strong bond like in the army between guys of different races and religions and cultures and backgrounds that all have that bond together, that they experienced something as a unit, and they all have that shared experience. It's why you become such good friends with the people you work with, particularly like the restaurant industry. Your coworkers become the people you go out and drink with afterwards, and you just all have this shared experience that brings you close together.
Yeah.
And then you also find that sometimes people that you thought were super close friends of yours really weren't, and that's not saying that they were bad people. It's just saying that like you realize like, oh, we were friends, but what was holding us together was that common thing. And once
Yeah.
that common thing is stripped away, we're just like whatever again, you know?
Yeah, I was watching on Netflix right before the quarantine. Me and Liz were posted up watching like Love is Blind or some shit
Nice.
on Netflix. It's like a dating show where like
There you go.
they're basically like in confessional booths with each other and they can't see each other, but they have to go on like dates with people. And then by the end of it, like some people will propose and then they'll finally get to see each other and then they'll get married like however long down the line. And it's like we watched like the first 2 episodes or something, and it's crazy like how people like connect in that scenario, because it's basically just like, oh my God, you like football and you're from Chicago? Oh my God, me too. And then they'll be like, it was love at first. I want to say sight, but I could only hear her. And it's like, are you really shacking up with each other on such like a superficial thing? Like, it's so crazy. Like, and that's what happened. Like, so many people just like, oh my God, you cry a lot, I cry a lot, oh, I love you.
Well, think about it though. We can say that's superficial, but in a way, that type of connection minus the physical attraction.
Yeah, it is like a deeper thing, I guess.
It's a
but-
deeper thing, and I feel like that show's kind of
but
cruel.
Still, it is weird because it's like after like 8 days, like 4 people propose to each other, and it's like they all think they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be married for the rest of my life. This is my life now."
But can you imagine how hurtful it must be if you have this totally awesome connection with this person, you just are so into each other and you really like each other, and then you finally see each other and you're like, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. That must be so painful.
Yeah.
You know, and like I'm imagining that's happened throughout this. That would suck. I think
No, I don't think that happened to it because I mean, like, it's still a reality show, so everyone on it is like pretty gorgeous.
Oh,
and,
okay.
like,
Okay, so
handsome.
then it's not. It's like okay, I know for a fact whoever I'm talking to right now is gonna be some super hot chick.
Yeah, probably.
So I'm just gonna see her and be like, "Oh, you're the cool one. Nice. You're the cool one out of all these 10s. Sweet, perfect."
There are a couple like dud girls and dud dudes. Like one of the dudes that went in who like obviously wasn't gonna get hitched up with anyone. Like he went to a room with like this black girl, and like immediately his first thing was like, "From your voice, I can tell are you black?" And she's like, "What?" It was so funny.
Instant. They got married.
Instant X out on him, dude. She's like, "What was your name again?" Oh, okay.
Well, it kind of makes you think like, because I think in regular dating life, it's like obvious. Anybody who tries to tell anyone that when you first meet somebody, or if you first meet a girl or a guy, whoever you are, that the first thing that you notice is their physical appearance. And then if you find a girl to be physically attractive, if you find a guy to be physically attractive, I'm not saying, obviously there's other ways relationships happen where, you know, maybe you just are all in the same friend group and then you never really felt any attraction to this guy, but then like you wound up talking one night and you, over the course of time, you realize that you really do have this connection. Then you start to see like, then you become like physically attracted to them, I guess, after or whatever. It's the whole friend zone thing, you know, whatever, who knows? It might be real.
bro.
It might be real. But for the most part, the first thing you notice about somebody is going to be like, if, for myself personally, unless it's a situation like that, which has never been the case,
Yeah, it's
always
ass
been
or
like,
tits.
that's just, dude, the least superficial thing you can think of.
It's all just
Face ass
numbers,
tits.
bro.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, baby. And so I'll look at a girl and like, okay, if she's cute, then all of a sudden, I remember my dad said to me, he was like, Jim, because I was like, you know, one of the few times I ever talked to my dad about like girl problems ever in high school. Yesterday, high school, and like, because he like forced it out of me, and I was like, fine, whatever. And I was telling him all about this bullshit and like, you know, I like this girl, but she's not the other thing. And he was like, Jim, you feel this connection, you think you have this connection with her, but at the end of the day, you have to realize that you are thinking that deep into the way she thinks and the way she's acting because you like her and you think she's pretty and things like that. This could, if it was the same girl that you didn't think was pretty or anything like that, you would not be all hung up about this shit.
Yeah.
So just understand that that's where your mind's at, that you're coming from it from a compromised standpoint, you know? But you can't deny that, you know, when you have that initial physical attraction to somebody, then all of a sudden you're ready to sit through their bullshit. And like be like, okay, well, let me talk to this chick. Oh, okay, she's like this. I can put up with that. Oh, she's like that. I can't put up with that. But I wouldn't even have gotten that far if I didn't initially think like, oh shit, this girl's cute. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that that couldn't occur in a different. I've never been one to have like lots of. I was gonna say lots of friends. I've never been one to have lots of female friends.
Yeah.
I have female friends and I have girls that I'm very close with, but we didn't have like, I think our one girl that was
there
like in our
wasn't, like,
friend circle was Ashley Mears.
Yeah.
Like we were just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
And so like I didn't really ever have an opportunity to experience what it might be like to be like friends with a girl, like legitimate friends with a girl, and then over the course of time gradually acquire this like intimate relationship with them, you know? Just never, because we didn't hang out with girls.
Yeah.
Fuck, doesn't make me a bad person.
Yeah.
Never had any girls to hang out
Dudes
with.
rock, dude.
Yeah, dude. Dudes are funnier, dude.
Or, you know, just at least the ones that we hung out with. You know?
Yeah, dude. We fucking had it going on, dude. I had a dream that I talked to Mihai in the hallway of Towson High School.
Damn. No, it's crazy. I drove by, I don't know if like his parents still live there, but I drove by that house today when I was driving over to Loch Raven, and I was like, I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm glad I still see Mehedi as often as I do. I'm glad
What
I
was
have
the
his jewel.
dream?
Oh, it was a dream. No, I saw Mihai.
I know in your dream.
Oh yeah.
What was
I saw-
it? What happened?
With me and Mihai, I forgot what we talked about, but like it was like so nice to see each other, and like we made plans to like hang out and stuff. But like it was weird because I was like, I was a 27-year-old in that dream, but I was in Towson High School.
Yeah, and he was like, I mean,
And Mihai was 27
you know,
since
he
we
was
knew him.
27, but he looked, you know, he said he was 17.
That was in real life for Mihai. but like I was walking, there were all these like high schoolers walking around. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here, dude?
Yeah.
Why am I here? And it's always weird. It's like I'm in like I remember like somehow it made sense to me. I was like, oh, dude, like you're in like you're a super senior.
You're never been kissed mode, dude. You're deep undercover.
That was a weird fucking dream, dude. But it was so nice. It was so nice to see Mihai, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him that. I'm like, nice talking to you the other night.
Like, hey, Slave, I had a dream about you too. That's crazy. But yeah, you got fucking Mahedi's jewel.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that close, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna hit that jewel right now, dude. Honestly, because
Nice.
I've had way too many cigs, way too many cigs, dude.
Dude, if you open that cart and just let one hit the table, I'd grab it.
Oh, perfect, dude. You just want to open it yourself?
Open it for me, and I'll grab one.
If you wind up getting coronavirus before me, it'll be fucking hilarious.
There you go. Don't worry, I touched all of them.
I was packing it raw.
Happens, yeah.
Fucking every single one of them, packing them. I forgot to pack these, dude. Damn, dude. This is now when I say I never do this.
Dude, you're quarantined, dude.
Yeah,
That's what
dude.
happens. Shit
This
you
is
say
the-
you'll never do, you start doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. I thought about just live streaming, playing guitar, and like not asking for money, just because I'm bored.
Yeah, dude.
Just fucking go on there, fucking 2012 style.
Hell
Fucking
yeah.
sing, you can't count on me.
Yeah. Do some How to Love.
How to love.
Say hello. Say you had a bad day.
There's certain things that I look back on to this day that I've done artistically that I nothing that I would show as like a measure of where I'm at now. but I can look back and at least appreciate that, like, for where I was at the time, that I can like appreciate it. But for
it was dope.
95% of the shit.
I
is
mean, right
embarrassing.
now, like, I know, but that's just because you've grown and you've made progress. Like, but for at the time, that shit was sick, dude.
I don't know, dude. You think the fucking How to Love video is sick, dude?
Dude, I made that shit. Of course I think it's sick. Of course I think it's sick. I remember you being pissed off because of my... I was, like, editing it, being like, Jimmy's pussy bitch ass 1, 2, like, Jimmy's pussy bitch ass 3. And then you're like, come on, dude, why are you saying like that? I'm like, I don't know. It's just how I name shit. Like, I do like it, though. And then Talking to the Moon, dude.
Oh,
I remember I shot that one too. It went up, but then it came down. I don't know why.
I had to take that one down, dude. That was ridiculous. I took most of the stuff. I think the only things I still have up are, I think I still have the How to Love video up. I think I still have me playing Here Without You, like in my Orioles shirt on my bed. I took Count on Me down for a while, which got like 40,000 views on YouTube. That like kind of popped off, and that's one of the most things that I regret about that whole situation was a girl commented on that video and said, "Oh my God, can you do Talking to the Moon?" And then I proceeded to put out my best material ever.
Damn.
And never heard from her again.
I think I know the girl.
Well, it was a girl.
We were talking about it during the shoot.
I don't. You might be thinking. Oh no, you're thinking of something different.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think, but this girl was like, it was like an actual like internet person. Like it was like a person that I didn't know that had like seen the video and thought that I was some like YouTube singer guy and like asked me to do another song, and then I totally, I guess, disappointed with
I mean, you're just helping your fans out, man.
I did the best I could, dude.
You did good.
I did the best I could. But other than that, I obviously took down the Sleep at Night video, even though that was kind of sick.
That was sick.
It was kind of sick. There's like a part of me that wishes it was still up, just because
there's a part of me now where I'm like, if like I knew what I knew now back then, we could make such a sick video.
I know, dude. I know, but also it's like you gotta remember where we were at the time, dude. I mean, we were. Even it's weird to say, but we didn't have access to a lot of the stuff that we have access to now back then.
Yeah.
None of us knew what the fuck we were doing. We just all were passionate about it, you know? And that's, yeah. And so, again, it's not something that, like, there's certain things that are just so cheesy and so hokey that, like, I just can't even bear to watch. But there are certain little glimmering moments. Like, I still will watch that fucking Who's Loving You video, dude.
Hell yeah.
That one where it's 3 of me. I'll still watch it. I'll be like, fuck yeah.
I think you edited that one.
Yeah, that was one of the few things that I ever edited successfully in my life. I don't know how I pulled that off.
You pulled off the fucking triplet.
But Sleep at Night was probably my worst editing of all fucking time, dude. That was so fucking embarrassingly bad. I remember the night I released that, one of these, this might be the person you were thinking of, I don't know. Maybe not. But I followed them on Snapchat and I saw their story. It wasn't snapped to me. It wasn't a direct snap.
In their story.
It was their story. And their story was her and another girl watching my video and laughing their fucking asses off.
No.
Oh my God, dude.
Okay, I understand why it got taken down now, bro. I get it.
It wasn't
that's brutal.
But it wasn't I didn't take it down because of that. But it's just that, I don't know, like I never have forgotten about that. You know, you put yourself out there and you're just trying and you do a lot of fucking dumb shit, I guess, you know? And that's part of finding, you know, what you should be doing, you know? But that shit fucking, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of that stuff I feel that way about, you know? I don't feel that way about our videos, though. Our fucking, like, Me, You, Scott videos.
Classic.
I will watch any one of those videos and think it's awesome.
Those are so good. I love them. I pulled one of those up the other day. I forget. I think it was the Bring Your Own Boys.
That's a classic.
It's a classic.
That kind of got some traffic.
That got
like
the most
10,000 views or
exposure.
something.
Yeah.
The North Korea video, as
Oh,
fucking
that's so good.
ridiculous as it
Yeah.
was. It's like fucking
Dude,
like
we made like a short movie.
yeah, that was like a long
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, we
You
spent like
watched that
3
shit-
months making that.
That was
We would
fucking,
like meet up here like 6 a.m. some days
Yeah,
just to be
dude.
like, yeah, let's fucking grind out. Fucking burned a hole through my parents' carpet. Fucking
oh man.
yeah, bro.
That shit I feel like if you any cool group of friends did that kind of shit. You know, I feel like whenever maybe it's just like the people that we know, because like Matt and Sig will always talk about how they did that kind of shit, and I'm thinking like, oh, maybe it was everybody, but also like Matt and Sig are similar to people to us, you know.
Yeah,
so I don't know if
exactly.
like fucking Lucas and his friends were doing that in high school. I doubt it. They were
Yeah,
too
I
busy
don't
hanging
know.
out with actual girls.
Exactly.
They never had time to make a DIY fleshlight video.
To try to get girls.
That video, speaking of, I wish that was public. I fucking
Dude, I
love
still
that
to
video.
this day think we could have gotten on like Tosh.0 or something.
Oh
with
my
that.
god, dude. I mean, Mahedi has had it private for a long time, and I'm thinking about just fucking telling to unleash it. Because it works. It works. I haven't tried it in a while. Probably since I was 21, but I bet it still works. I got a
It
couch.
probably still works. Dude. Do you got any pictures of Dom in your house?
I mean, I don't know if like having been exposed to real like,
Sex,
yeah,
yeah.
real sex. maybe
Going back, you're like, ooh.
is this what I thought sex would feel like?
It's so cold.
So I don't know if maybe the real thing has tarnished my appreciation for a sponge and a dishwashing glove, but
Maybe put some hot water on that sponge.
or maybe it will have helped my appreciation for a sponge. Maybe if I go back and I'm like, wow, I really had something going here.
Yeah, and then you start banging girls again. Bust too quick and fucking.
Can you put this?
It's too good. Yeah, can you put this fleshlight in your pussy?
Can we sit on my couch? please?
Can I jam you between my couch cushions real quick?
Can you put this fleshlight in your pussy?
I mean, this is what I've been training on.
I'd really feel more comfortable if we could just stick with the fleshlight.
Shit. That's funny. Maybe that'll be a bit after the fucking
It's gonna happen.
quarantine on comedy gets lifted.
Please, dude. That'd be fucking sweet.
Oh man. Yeah. I think we were calling it earlier, like, you know, we don't know how long this is gonna last. I'm saying maybe I think things will start turning around sooner rather than later, but I'm saying at latest maybe June or July for like
At latest.
getting over the worst of it. I think it'll still be present. I think it's gonna make a kick back up when it gets cold out again. But yeah, I don't know. I think we got some of our brightest minds working on this shit. I've seen a lot of like there's like a thing where you can like leave your computer running a program and help like break down the chain of the bacteria in COVID-19. So there's like a lot of cool stuff going on. Hopefully it just leads to brighter days sooner.
I'll bet $100 to the first person that calls me on this that maybe $10.
Oh,
Make
we've
it
already
10.
had it. And
Yeah.
It's not
Then
a big deal.
No, that whoever would when we come up with the vaccine, it's going to come out of America.
The vaccine
We're
is
going
going
to
to come out of
do it.
America?
I think America's going to figure
Maybe.
it
I
out.
don't know. I think
$10.
Cuba's already working on a vaccine.
Whoever calls me on it, everybody's obviously working on a vaccine. I just think, you know, I doubt there's any countries that are like, fuck it, dude.
Yeah.
Who cares about a vaccine?
Know what I have been doing though? I've been eating all my vitamins recently. I'm feeling good about that. I've been
Yeah.
eating a lot of. I read online that like vitamin C and vitamin D are good, and apparently vitamin D is especially good for like lung health. So I'm feeling good about that. I'm drinking a lot of tea. I even brought some tea here tonight. It's still too hot.
Dude,
I got this
vitamin
fucking
C is yeah,
thermos.
still
Dude, the
too hot.
thermos is still fucking
Jesus
hot.
Christ.
My tongue's burnt. It's fucking, yeah.
Fucking vitamin C, dude. That's what scurvy is, a vitamin C deficiency. That's
Yeah.
why we call British people limeys. Because they would suck
Yeah.
on limes on the ships to replenish their vitamin C, which is probably my favorite derogatory term.
Yeah,
I love
hell yeah,
I love
limey.
calling a British person a fucking
Limey
limey.
Brit.
I love limey and I like frog for French people. Oh, I just love using that one. Those are the most harmless. I wish there was one for Greeks.
For
Like
Greeks.
WAP for Italians, you know.
Yeah.
I'm part Italian. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
You know, also, you know, who cares? But like Greek, it's like we're not even good enough to be made fun of, dude. You can't even think of a fucking term for us. Fucking
Yeah, it's
Gurk.
like, you know, kicking the whatever when it's down.
I know. It's like it's one thing to be made fun of, but you don't even think we deserve a fucking nickname, dude.
Greasy Greek.
Yeah, greasy Greek,
That
child
could
molesting
also- but
Greek.
Greasy is also like Italian too.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I guess
There's olive oil.
you could carry.
mainly.
Yeah, you could carry WAP over to Greeks if you really wanted to, but it's not ours, dude.
No, it's not yours. Yeah, I don't know.
It's kind of like the oh.
Yeah, I mean
oh,
molesters
oh, oh.
definitely.
Yeah, gay.
No.
I mean,
Strictly for Paris, dude. Strictly for France.
yeah, dude. Frog for France.
I'm saying gay for France.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about
Turn the
Greek.
frogs gay.
Yeah, because even like, yeah, I don't know. Like, even like you're saying, like, Greek doesn't have something because it's like not really out in the forefront or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Most other places have a fucking slang for them.
Dude, there's a lot of fucking. I was looking at the population of Greece.
You
And
got
I
to
was like,
figure out what Turkish people call Greek people.
True.
That's what we got to figure out.
We just call them Turks, which is just what they're called. You know, they probably have such a worse name for us. Who fucking knows? Fucking Polak. That's a good one, dude. For Polish people, I fucking love Polak.
I'm on the Wikipedia for list of ethnic slurs.
There you go. List of ethnic slurs.
Yeah.
What are we seeing? Anything sticking out?
A greaseball is Italian for sure.
Come on, that should be us, dude.
No, it is Italian, I'm saying. Any person of Mediterranean, Southern European descent, or Hispanic descent, greaser, has taken on a less derogatory connotation since the 1950s, mainly because a greaser back then was a guy who, you know, slicked his hair back, wore a leather jacket, fucking
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I've been called a greaser a lot, dude, and I didn't know that people were fucking being racist.
Damn. Oh my god. I don't even want to say this one.
What we got? You're just
There's
reading it.
Guinea, Guido are on there, which is kind of weird. I feel like Guido got taken back.
Yeah.
A hairy back is a South Africa, a term for Afrikaners.
Oh, the Dutch Africans.
Yeah, yeah.
Hairy
Call it a
back.
hairy back.
Not as good as wet back.
It's pretty good. Hairy back is pretty funny.
back.
Honky's on here.
Honky's good.
Honky's a pretty good one. Apparently, a white person derived from an African American pronunciation of hunky, the disparaging term for Hungarian laborer. The first record of its use as an insulting term for a white person dates from the 1950s in New Zealand, used by Maori to refer to New Zealanders of European descent. They'd call them a honky.
Really?
Yeah.
The Maori
So,
were calling
yeah,
us honkies?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
It's interesting.
Good looks.
A hunk. I
Hey.
guess that's like the hunky thing that they're
A
talking
hunk.
about.
Is gringo? I think
Kinda-
gringo is kind of a.
Gringo's definitely. Apparently, Jew boy is on here.
That's a good one. Jew boy.
Apparently, just calling someone a Jim Crow is like saying a black person.
Okay.
Trying trying to look for like funny ones, but also like ones that I can say because there have been a couple funny ones where I'm like, oh, I can't say that.
Dude, you're reading it, bro. Who cares?
Uh,
You're reading a public
I mean,
page.
I'm trying to find. Oh my god! Apparently, Hong Kong people call mainland Chinese people locust.
Jesus.
That's crazy.
Now I know why fucking China's so pissed at Hong Kong. Locust.
Ooh, apparently Hindus call Bangladeshi people Maloon. I don't know what that means.
Maloons?
Malaun. Maloon. I don't know.
Oh, dude, I'm going to call Mehdi a Maloon. Right now, dude. Fucking Maloon. That's a good one, dude. I like that.
Turks denied the Kurds their own ethnicity, calling them Mountain Turks.
Wow. That's kind of like what the lion did to the mountain lion.
True.
Yeah. Derogatory. Also, Puma and Cougar. Even worse.
I'll just say this: there's a lot for black people. this is wild. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot. Because I got down to the ends, and there's a lot. I'm still trying to find a Greek one though.
Yeah, it sucks.
A lot
As
of
far
it's
as-
for like
as far
white
as black
people or
people go-
Jews or Pacific Islands or
As far as what I would say,
Asian. Apparently, pancake face or a pancake is an
Pancake face.
Asian person. God damn.
I never knew what jigaboo
Ooh,
was,
a
and I always thought it was
peckerwood.
funny.
A peckerwood is
That's a
good
good
one
one.
too.
That's a good one.
Used by Southern African Americans and upper class whites to refer to poor rural whites. Peckerwood.
Ooh.
So it was
That's a
black
good one.
people and the elite
Peckerwood.
calling fucking rednecks fucking peckerwoods. Dude.
See, I like that one.
I like that because
I
that's
like
like
that.
class division broken.
Hold up, is spooks for black people?
I'm gonna probably say yeah. I'm not down to the S's yet.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, a pepper or a Pepsi is derogatory to Canadians from French Canadian people.
I think what's even worse, and this is kind of like a reverse slur, but people call in the industry they call people that don't tip Canadians because Canadians
Oh.
notoriously don't tip. So that's kind of like a reverse slur where we look at a terrible fucking person in society and we go, "That's a Canadian."
Even Bengali people have slurs. What the hell? I still have not seen Greek yet.
That's so ass, dude.
A round eye for a white or for
Is pink dick on there? Please tell me pink dick's on there. That's my least favorite.
it might be. Let me go back up. No,
Really?
I don't see it on this one.
I think I should edit that.
You should add that, dude.
Pink dick, a disparaging term for white people, derived from this one time I heard it. That pissed me off. That
Ooh,
really was the only
a
time.
sheep shagger.
Ooh, is that a Scottish person?
Um,
Sheep shagger?
Well, it's a Welsh person or a New Zealander.
Sheep shagger.
Yeah. Interesting. I like a lot of these though.
Yeah, a lot of them are really good.
Skinny, apparently a term for Somali militia fighters.
Skinny. Fucking skinnies. I can see that working.
Apparently a snow N-word is the name for a Northern European.
That is good to know, dude.
God damn. That's so funny.
Oh my god.
A squarehead is a Nordic person, such as a Scandinavian or a German. A squarehead.
What is okay? So zipperhead is Vietnamese, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And then-
apparently a taco head is a Mexican person.
Taco head.
Taco head? I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah, dude. Some of these are ridiculous. Dude. If taco head's in there, pink dick should be in there. That's ridiculous. Taco head. Who the
Taco
fuck
head.
has ever said that to a Mexican
oh my
person?
God. Apparently timber N-word is a name for Native Americans.
What? That is
I've
not
never
a thing,
heard that
dude.
in my life.
That is not of. I think, dude. What is the worst one for Native Americans besides just American Indian?
I think doing that like impression of you putting your hand all over your mouth while going woo.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is fun to do though. I like that one.
Elizabeth Warren, it's her favorite thing.
Yeah, I don't think there is one for them. Maybe savages. I
A
don't know.
wagon burner is apparently a North American person in reference to when Native American tribes would attack.
A wagon burner is a Native
Wagon burner.
American.
No,
Really?
it's for oh yeah, Native American.
Wow. That's
I
see,
read that for a second and I was like, no, that means like the pilgrims.
That's not even that mean though. Wagon burner's kind of like if I heard that I'd
white
be like
ears is a white person.
white ears.
White ears.
Damn.
That kind of hurts.
Damn, dude, come on, bro.
I can't change the color of my ears.
You gonna judge me for the color of my ears? It's wrong.
A yam yam.
Let me guess.
Term used by people from Birmingham to refer to someone from the black country, and that's in the UK. What's
Oh,
the
Birmingham,
black
England. I was thinking
country?
Birmingham, Alabama.
Does this mean? I guess it's just like a working area. It's not like they put all the black people in the black country. That'd be pretty weird if they did that.
Yeah.
Zipperhead, Asian person used by American military personnel during the Korean War.
Yeah. That has the most morbid derivative, with the
Yeah.
fucking tanks running over their heads and shit. That's fucking like that one's got to be a bad one. Zipperhead.
Yeah, that's no good.
Jesus Christ.
Still no Greek people though.
Yeah, I think that's I'm kind of mad about that. I'm kind of like it annoys me, dude. I
I'm
want
looking
to
at every slur on Wikipedia and I can't find one for a Greek person. You're pissed.
Someone's so mad that we don't have a racial slur against us, dude.
Cabbage eater is for a German or a Russian.
Cabbage eater.
Cabbage eater. You cabbage eater.
Cabbage eater. What's for
You
Australian people?
cabbage. No, well, never mind. That was something that they use against other people. Let's see. I saw a couple, but now I started down like halfway through because I was like, I bet Greek. I started at G because I was like, Greek. Maybe it'll be like categorized by nation,
A Gurk.
but it didn't.
Fucking Craig. I don't even know how you come up with slurs, but like something like that could work.
Kirk.
Craig, a Gurk.
Kirking out. I've heard people say that before. Yeah, it's like whiling out.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Kirking out. You fucking kirking out, dude. That's kind of like tweaking.
A
But without-
gin jockey in Australia is a white person having casual sex with an Aboriginal woman.
A gin
It's
jockey.
a pejorative. A gin jockey.
It's kind of like saying like a
Apparently,
night rider.
gin is an Aboriginal woman.
Really?
Yeah,
A gin.
a gin. That's still not against Australian people, though.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, apparently this is, though. A gub or a gubba is Aboriginal term for white people.
Nice. Fucking gubba.
Gubba, you gub.
Gubba ass bitch.
Fucking gub, bitch. That's a good one. I'm going to call
That's good,
Australian
dude.
people that.
Yeah, so far I'm going Maloon, Gubba,
Gubba.
and Sheepshagger. Those are my top 3 so far.
Oh, shit. There's a bunch of good ones on here, though.
There's got to be one for Irish people, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, there's Mick and...
Mick. I love Mick.
Mick's a good one.
I love that.
Here, let me go back down to that, because I want to know what that actually comes from.
I think
It
it's just
says
from like
of
all their
Irish
names being like
descent.
Mick Allen, Mick Bryan, Mick. Yeah,
True. That's good. That's
Yeah.
a good call.
I think so, dude.
That's a good call.
Yeah, the good one. That
It was
Mick,
nice to learn a couple new slurs.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice to
yeah.
kind of in this time of need.
Yeah.
We're discovering new things.
Yeah, I just need new things to call the inanimate objects in my apartment.
fucking Mick Shagger, fucking Gubba ass
Fucking
bitch.
Gub ass potholder. Make me burn my white ears.
Oh no. You think that you're ever gonna get back to a point where you start like sharing spliffs with people again and cigarettes and hitting people's like whatever?
Yeah, I mean, like, I hope so. But also, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, like, I don't know. It just all depends.
Yeah.
It's going to definitely be, like, on a need to know basis.
And it's also kind of like weird. I was thinking about it, how casually we would do stuff like that before. Like it was just totally normal, just pass a spliff around, fucking hit a bowl, bong, whatever, stuff like that. And then like I've been noticing, like even like today, I'm like, oh shit, like we were fucking careless as fuck before this made anybody care.
But also, it's just like it's so weird that like I don't know. It's just interesting how like nothing else stopped that before, and now it did. Like that's just how much of a threat the COVID shit is.
Well, I mean, you got to give it to the flu.
I mean, because for the flu, at least everyone was like, whatever. Like I've been through that shit before.
I
Like,
think if we're gonna talk
this
about
outta here.
world record best viruses in history, the greatest, you got to talk about not just the one who had not the one hit wonders, not the fucking Black Plague, this, stuff like that. Like
Flu's consistent.
yeah, not leprosy, not fucking smallpox, even the one hit wonders. And I obviously know that like, but like the epidemics and shit like that. And I think if you were to say what virus has killed the most people throughout human history, it's got to go up to either the common cold or the flu.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they're not the same thing, to be honest. I don't even know.
I'm not
But
sure.
the
either.
common cold, dude, that is the standard virus. The common cold is the universal standard for viruses. Common. And there's no cure for it. The common cold has no fucking cure to this day.
Yeah.
That is, you got to give it to it, That and the flu. The flu comes back every season looking different.
Yeah.
Worked hard, came back. All right, boys, we had a
Fucking
good
new
year last year.
outfit. It's
Comes
fucking
back,
coolin'.
comes back in, gets back in. Fucking, you got to come up with new vaccines every fucking year for this shit.
Well,
Dude,
everyone else was at the beach during the summer. The flu went to the gym.
The
dude.
flu fucking got his summer body in summer, baby. He doesn't have anything but a summer body, dude. And in winter, he fucking stunts on us, dude. You think about polio, all the diseases, rabies, smallpox, diseases that we have come up with a vaccine for and completely stopped them in their fucking tracks,
Yeah.
at least where the vaccines are provided. They didn't come back with a vengeance. The flu comes back with a vengeance every fucking year, dude. We come up with a vaccine, the flu goes, all right, dude. Back to the drawing board, boys. Comes
Yeah.
back the next year, same way. Polio couldn't do that. Polio has been fucking pinned since fucking 1930.
Dude, let's give it up for polio. Because that also, didn't that come back with anti-vaxxer shit? Polio?
I don't know,
I
dude.
feel like probably.
I know that it's like still a thing in other parts of the world. I think the scariest one is definitely smallpox. You ever seen pictures of people with smallpox?
Yeah. Well, that's the crazy thing, too, about like fucking like chicken pox and shit that like we just like, like, oh, yeah, whatever. Like, fucking, oh, yeah, the kid down the street has it. Yeah, send my kid over there. We fucking let him get it and then he'll never have it again. Like, whatever.
Exactly.
But, yeah. That just goes to show, like, I don't know. Hopefully next year we can treat COVID like that shit. But, like, for right now, like, it's freaking me out, man.
Even, dude, the Spanish flu,
AKA
swine flu,
came from China.
bird flu, China.
No, theirs came from China.
China.
Didn't swine flu come from like Mexico or something?
Yeah. Or China.
I think bird flu came from China.
Yeah. Bird flu, probably China.
So that was like the first time the world saw China with those masks.
Didn't
dude.
mad cow disease come from here?
Maybe. I forget.
Lyme's disease came from here. It's named after a place it's from, Lyme's, Michigan or something.
Yeah,
Lyme's,
fuck
Minnesota
Lyme's
or
disease,
something. I don't
bro.
fucking know.
Lyme's disease sucks.
Yeah, dude. That came from here.
It makes me afraid to go outside. Same
Malaria.
with that fucking, the Lone Star tick or whatever that makes you allergic to fucking meat.
Oh, shit. I remember hearing about that. Is that
Fucking
real?
Freaks me out, bro. I think so, yeah.
Yo.
That freaks me the
So
fuck out.
what do you think the evolutionary benefit of a tick having the ability to make a human being or any type of living creature allergic to meat? What do you think the benefit of that was?
I don't know if it's a benefit. I think it may have been a thing like in its saliva, maybe like whatever thing breaks down whatever like nutrients or whatever they need to get out of like being a parasite and latching on to like you as the host and drinking your blood or whatever. Like I think whatever thing that benefits them, the side effect is that like you, because you become contaminated with that, you can't break down whatever sort of proteins are in
Yeah.
that meat or whatever.
I'm saying that, like, do you think that there's a reason why that is? Like,
I'm saying maybe it benefits them from on initial bite and like putting its saliva into your whatever to stop it coagulating or whatever. Like,
oh yeah, for
maybe
sure.
maybe
For
like
sure.
it's anti breakdown whatever shit that like makes you not be able to eat meat, stops the cut in your body from healing.
Yeah,
or
definitely.
Whatever.
That's what
like,
mosquitoes have too. Yeah.
yeah.
And in addition to that, the animals that it bites, let's say it bites a human being or a fox or something carnivorous, whatever it may be, if it makes that animal no longer able to consume meat, then maybe it leads to bigger populations of like animals because there's no predator to take them out.
True.
And so the tick benefits from having more.
Rabbits around.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like what you're saying about like the breaking down things, yeah, that for sure.
Yeah.
But also, like, not every tick needs to fucking make you allergic to meat to fucking suck your blood.
But also, I don't think like in the tick's head, they're like,
oh, they don't know.
if I fucking make this guy not eat meat, there's more meat for me to suck blood from.
Yeah, that's the same. I mean, I'm looking at it the way like fruits work and shit like that. Like a fruit, fruits no. You gotta at least
I'm
give me
thinking of
that.
this
Dude.
like a fruit, bro.
Fruits, no.
I'm looking
dude.
at this like it was a fruit.
But a fucking fruit has this delicious outer shell. So good. And then animals don't know they're eating the whole fucking fruit, but they're also eating the seeds, dog. So the
they're
seeds
shitting
go
the seeds out.
through their fucking system, shit the seeds out, and now the seed is sitting in perfect fertilizer to grow another fucking fruit tree. Does
Yeah.
the orange know that that's why it does it?
I don't know.
No. Yes.
You're bringing
yes.
up some good points. 3 hours in, the points are coming in.
Now we're really getting to the bottom of it, dude. Do fruits know? Broccoli, as we've proven on this podcast before, does have an IQ of 3.
Damn.
Where does that leave
I
other
got
plants?
some broccoli in my fridge. About to get smart as shit. How's that Jewel hitting, bro?
It's good, dude. I want to let you hit it, dude.
I'm not hitting
I know
that,
you're
bro.
not
I'm
going to
not
hit
hitting
it.
that, bro.
I know you're not going to hit it.
I'm not hitting that, bro.
It is. There are a couple people around me that don't believe they had the virus but feel very sick.
Damn. Like who? I know you said Lucas earlier. But
Lucas,
you better not say Dom, dude.
no,
You
no,
better
no,
not
no,
say
no,
your
dude.
mom or your
Dom
fucking-
actually hasn't really been at the house at all.
Oh, okay.
So that's been a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah. You're going through what I'm going through then.
Exactly. I'm just chilling alone. But also this girl I went on like a Tinder date is now saying her like throat really hurts or something like that.
Ooh.
I'm like, damn.
Damn, girl.
So you're not coming over during the quarantine.
So you don't want a pandemic and chill.
But it's weird because they're like Lucas is. I was like, you think you got it, dude? He's like, I don't know, dude. And I was just like, I guess that's where I would be, dude. If I just started feeling suddenly sick, I'd just be like, I guess I got it.
Yeah. I don't know.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, it's and also like the thing is too, like at least right now, like testing is so hard to like. I know like they're trying to do better and better every day, but like even if you wanted to get tested, I'm sure like they're testing priority patients, like people with underlying conditions and in the age range for it to be most affecting them, and like.
Let me
I
ask you
don't know.
this, dude. Because we were joking about it before.
About like already having it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We like the pandemic got to the point it is now because like you said what happened at first in China is that it takes a certain amount of time for people to even notice because if you're not looking for it and somebody just has like an upper respiratory problem or something like that, then you might write it off as okay, so this is just the flu or this is the cold or this is something else, you
Yeah.
know. So it takes a certain amount of time for them to even pinpoint that this is a whole separate strain, and now we're testing for it, now we're looking for it, and now we're finding all these cases. But is it possible that the coronavirus has been present around the world for maybe much longer than we've just been testing it and finding out.
Yeah, I mean that could be true, but also like the thing now is like it has mutated to this point where it is like a deadlier thing. So maybe it was circulating around, but now it is like now it's like really in its fucking flu game.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking
But
Jordan
I
flu
also
game,
remember
dude.
thinking I got it so bad this year, and I normally I'll get sick once a year and it'll be like whatever for a couple days. But I got it really fucking bad
I
this year.
remember.
And
Yeah.
I remember thinking like if I was an 80-year-old, I would probably die from this.
Damn.
Like that was like from what my understanding of what the coronavirus is, which is it's like this virus that's, worse than a regular flu, extremely dangerous to older people, but like younger people, they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what that is and there's nothing more to it than that, I don't think it's out of line for me to, think maybe I might have already had it. That maybe, dude, I'm just saying, like,
I know, no,
yeah.
you're saying some real shit.
Like that was only like January 1st, and they
Yeah.
started finding because that's the other thing that gets me about like statistics and deaths. It's like when they talk about like the counts and stuff like that. It's like, dude, when we say that there's now 100 something, or there's like, let's say there's 20,000 confirmed cases in the United States, whatever the fuck it is right now. When we say that, that doesn't mean that there's only 20,000 people in the United States that have it. It just
That's
means
just
that,
how many people have been tested.
exactly. So we actually have no fucking clue how many people have this.
Because like in Maryland right now, I think it's like, I think it's up to like 200 something or 300 or something in Maryland. And like I saw that like there's 24 in the county and like 15 or 20 in the city. But at the same time, it's like, there's just the ones that got tested.
Exactly. So who's to say that like, oh, nobody was thinking about it, nobody was looking for it in December. Maybe it was already present.
Yeah.
Maybe it was already going around. I honestly,
I mean, I would hope that was the case because we'd both
We'd be good.
been over it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't want to. I'd rather risk on taking precautions of that I haven't had it yet
Yeah.
than to either get it for the first time or even get it again. Like,
Yeah.
because like I don't know. There's definitely been cases across the world like, and they're
you can
for
get it
people.
twice.
I've like older people have been proven to get it twice. I'm
Fool me
pretty
once,
sure.
shame on you, dude.
Yeah.
Fool me twice, you win.
Yeah. And it might also be a thing too, like I think some of those people were like it might have been like a false negative or whatever, like and they got like let go too early or so you never know and like cuz it's all so rapidly changing. But yeah, I don't know. I'd rather just not get the shit. So
Obviously,
I'm just
dude.
being
Obviously,
safe.
I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
But obviously, come on.
Obviously, I already had it, bro.
All I'm saying is I'm not going to do anything different in my daily life because I already had the coronavirus, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I was patient one, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. We can probably wrap things up soon. I feel like we've been going for a while.
We are at 3.5 hours.
Holy shit, are you serious? Oh, man. I mean, we did say we were doing like a 4-hour cast.
Oh, yeah, dude. This is endless content, dude.
Oh, fuck.
That's fucking...
Well, I mean, for plugs, all my
Hey.
shit got canceled, boy.
Yeah,
So-
dude. Same.
I don't know. Fucking obviously follow us across everything. My personal one's at Eric Glazer. Jimmy's at Jimmy Selesky. We got at LFTS Podcast across the board.
On everything.
Stay tuned for some more quarantine podcast episodes. I don't know. We might do a Patreon. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll look into it.
We'll look into it. We'll see. We got to figure out what we're going to actually put up on there first, though, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't just be like, give us money for the free podcast.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to be chilling by the mailbox with my fucking mask on, waiting for that check from the government, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Be
hell yeah.
cruising. I'm just going to be keep fucking cataloging hard drives.
Big government check coming in, baby. Big
Big
checks.
stimulus.
Fucking stoked. Really
Yeah,
am.
I'm gonna get that. Buy a fucking gun. Fucking
Yes, dude. Get yourself ready.
Get ready, dude. And we hope you're getting ready out there, guys. Stock up on food. Take care of your loved ones. We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.